get started then. There we are. All right. Hope it all looks good. So what do we got? First up, we're going to watch one from Legendary Drops about how indie games are the enemy now. So if you are watching this later on YouTube, welcome YouTube. We're going to be watching this video by Legendary Drops about how indie games are now the enemy of big studios and big gaming. Let's go ahead and start the video.
You're doing right now. I see what you're doing. I saw what you said. You should not stop celebrating the success of these 30-person studios that are doing more with 30 people than most video game studios can do with 600. No, instead, you need to panic. We all need to panic because the deprofessionalization of the games industry is on the horizon. At least that's what they're calling it. And that means that there are fewer roles in marketing, cultural consulting. Brace yourselves for this one. Less roles in middle management. Oh, God, the horror. So today we're going to be talking about how apparently it's a bad thing that more people are making games on their own because that means less opportunities for the real professionals. Oh, yeah, this is going to be good. Once success starts happening outside of the system, all of a sudden it's not about whether or not these games are good. No, it's about who's not getting paid to make them. Exactly. Accountability is a rare thing in the games industry. I've noticed that more times than not. And so many people want to shift the blame onto somebody else. They want to create an enemy out of thin air, or they want to appeal to empathy for job security. And now we need to be careful with how much we enjoy these indie games because it could hurt AAA. You need to put down that Expedition 33. You might poke somebody's eye out with that thing. But before that, I'm
going to let the ad play, but I just wanted to throw this out. The fact that in every other industry, it is the consumer that dictates whether a product is sold, whether they continue to make it, because businesses are not going to continue to produce products that people are not buying. It's supply and demand. It's simple economics. Supply and demand. If indie developers are making the games that players, that video game players want to play, want to buy, that's where the money is going to go. If you're spending way too much money on a AAA title to have it developed, and then you pass on that price hike to the customer, and if the game isn't good, they're not going to do it. They're not going to buy it. They're not going to waste their money on it. And that's the thing I think that the game industry hasn't fully wrapped their head around at this point, is the fact that we don't, with good games coming out from indie studios, we don't have to only go to them for a good experience with video games. We don't have to anymore. We can get it other ways through indie developers. And now that indie developers are becoming more prevalent, it's easier for them to put out games using very powerful engines like Unreal Engine for games like the one he just mentioned, Expedition 33. Super small. It's a small studio, and you know who makes up most of the people in the studio? People who used to work at Ubisoft when Ubisoft made good games. Instead of driving games in a direction to where they can push a narrative, push a message at the cost of gameplay, writing, and character development, they're doing all of that and putting out the product that people want to buy and play, when AAA studios are not. And so, yeah, absolutely, I agree with everything he said so far.
Word from today's sponsor. If game publishers are willing to charge $80 for digital games that you don't actually own, track your behavior, and lock content behind online-only DRM, what?
I'll say this, I'm always going to watch built-in ads from creators because they can see the analytics behind the scenes of what is the most watched, skipped, etc. part of their videos. And if they ever see that I'm reacting to their content, I'm not going to fast forward through their ad that they have built in, because I am using their video and reacting to it as content as well. So just for you guys to know.
What do you think they are doing with your data? Yeah, that's why I use NordVPN, and you probably should too. NordVPN encrypts your internet traffic, blocks trackers and malicious websites with its Threat Protection Pro, and it helps you stay private no matter where you are or what you're doing online. It's fast, reliable, and it doesn't log any of your activity, which is more than I can say for a lot of other companies on the internet these days. It also lets you access region-locked content from anywhere in the world, whether that's a documentary that's only available overseas, a site that's blocked on your network, or you're just trying to avoid price discrimination. NordVPN gives you the freedom to browse without borders or restrictions. Whether you're sick of targeted ads, censorship, or you just want to take back control of your digital life, NordVPN gives you the tools to do it. .com/L-drops, or click the link in the description or pinned comment below to get a major discount on a 2-year plan plus 4 extra months for free. And if you find out that it's not for you, well, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. Indie games haven't just found success in recent years, they have dominated.
I would be playing that game. I have that game, Claire Expedition 33. But my keyboard is really old. You can look it up. It's G11. Okay. It's not that responsive. I've tried playing it with the mouse and keyboard, and the only controller I have, my son broke. It's got such massive stick drift on it that just standing still, my guy almost starts to walk in a semicircle. And one of the bumpers is kind of sticky. Yeah, it was unplayable for me just due to that fact that I can't really use the keyboard very well and mouse, just because like when I was hitting spacebar to parry or dodge, it wasn't that it was getting late, it just wasn't getting the input. So I would love to play that game too. Hopefully I can get a new controller someday soon that I can play games like that, because it is recommended to play on a controller.
Not just as underdogs, but as some of the most beloved and talked about titles in the industry. And indie has become a bit of a spectrum. On one end, you have studios like Larian with Baldur's Gate 3, or Sandfall Interactive with Expedition 33, well-funded, still operating outside of the grip of traditional publishers. And on the other end, you have solo developers like Tyler with Schedule 1, or Local Thunk, the creator of Balatro.
Tyler, Schedule 1, incredible game. I have a custom playthrough I'm going to be doing of it, all themed behind a specific character that we'll be playing from obviously his perspective as the player, but it's fun. I've had it planned for a while, so that will also be coming to the channels and to YouTube. So look out for that in the future.
Completely different scales, but the same result. Self-run, self-funded, and most importantly, unrestricted by AAA. As tools become more accessible and these games keep hitting both critically and commercially, more creators are jumping in. Some are seasoned veterans that are finally breaking free to go make something they actually want to. Others are just complete newcomers. But the point is, they're doing it, and they're doing it on their own. And that's where the friction starts. Because every new success story from the indie world exposes just how bloated and inefficient the traditional studio system has become. And for some people, that's a threat, especially if your whole job exists within a 500-person pipeline. These all-purpose developers are doing to AAA what YouTubers did to network television, what streamers did to cable news. They are proving that you don't need 10 departments and 1,000 employees to make something that people actually care about. And just like how content creators are often branded as unprofessional by legacy media, indie developers are now getting the same treatment from the AAA establishment. In an article written by Bryant Francis of GameDeveloper.com titled "The Deprofessionalization of Video Games" was on full display at PAX East. PAX East felt like a warning. Explosively successful games by solo devs and small teams are great, but it could lead to the death of vital specialists. He writes, at DICE and GDC this year, I heard talk of a trend in game development that sent a chill down my spine. Deprofessionalization, as A16Z marketing partner Ryan K. Rigney defines it, deprofessionalization is a phenomenon driven by the overperformance of older titles, particularly free-to-play live service games, large studios struggling to drive sales, and the outsized success of some solo developers and small teams.
Okay, really? Okay, hold on. okay, this is like, I can actually see this person saying this, and it's such an over dramatization of what's going on. The bottom line is that if large studios were making games people actually wanted to play, they would be driving sales. That's all there is to it. And they're being outsized with the success of solo developers and small teams because they don't have all the bloat that these huge companies have. I know in my job, like, I can't only specialize in one thing. I have to support a lot of different products. And I've even taken on just recently additional roles that are not in my job description. And that's a bigger company because they're trying to run efficiently. That is normal business operations. That's how every other business operates. You know, they're going to continue to give you more and more things to do to save money for themselves. But it sounds like in the video games industry that you're allowed to just only be good at one little thing, and you have to have 10 different people that specialize in little things doing stuff that probably 2 people could do.
To drive sales and the outsized success of some solo developers and small teams. These 3 forces, he argues, will combine to drive career professionals from the traditional professionalized side of the games industry. Some of these people will decide to go indie, he continues. Others will leave gaming altogether. And in between, there is a vast spectrum of irregular working arrangements available. Yeah, I'm going to have to stop you right there. The idea that indie success is driving career professionals out of the industry is such a warped take that it's almost impressive. Let's just ignore the last 5 years of layoffs, project cancellations, and ruthless studio consolidation, and instead blame the one guy who made a viral hit in his bedroom. That's the villain now? Major studios have been pushing these people out long before indie would even come into this conversation. Specialized talent wasn't being nurtured, it was being discarded. Projects were getting rebooted mid-development. QA is being outsourced, and artists are being chewed up and spat out like they were nothing more than replaceable assets. Indie success didn't create this brain drain. It gave people a reason to leave willingly or a place to go if they didn't. So if those same professionals now look at indie devs and think, yeah, I'd rather take the risk and make something real, that's not deprofessionalization, that is liberation. And honestly, that's a good thing. And this industry needs more of it. Because the reality is the parts of this industry that this article feels are being threatened, the corporate monoliths like Activision, EA, Ubisoft, Epic, are the same companies that are responsible for most of what's broken right now. Bloated budgets, monetization first design, copycat games that are designed to mimic Fortnite or Call of Duty. If those studios are shedding talent, maybe that's because they've become the worst place to put it. And if those same professionals that are being kicked out of the industry go on to build the next Larian, the next Supergiant, or the next Sandfall Entertainment, that's not a loss. That's the start of something better. The writer goes on to say, wandering through these booths, I found a mix of truly excellent and inspiring games, but also found myself bubbling with frustration. Few developers on display were working with teams larger than 3 people. They talked about publishers wanting ever more expensive offerings as a part of their pitch deck. Short-term contractors seemed to be the best way to plug gaps. Why did it feel like so few proper businesses were fighting to get their games in front of players at PAX? Speaking with Rigney and other developers, I sense that deprofessionalization isn't just a catchy phrase to describe the demand side of economics in game industry hiring. It's a frustrating reality that may undervalue games from big and small teams alike. Rigney offered some extra nuance on his deprofessionalization theory in an email exchange we had before PAX. He predicted that marketing roles at studios would be the first on the chopping block, followed by roles that seem to be replaceable to management.
Oh, I'm just heartbroken that a bunch of marketing people may not still have their jobs when they do such a terrible job of marketing the product as it is now. Well, actually, maybe I shouldn't say that. They don't do a bad job. In a lot of the failures we've seen recently, I think that the studios themselves have done a bad job of giving other departments, other, divisions, a good product to actually put out and to try to push to the public. But this would be one where they would cut back on, obviously, first of all. And I wonder what roles he's going to say are replaceable.
Even if they're not. I genuinely cannot believe that this article exists. The writer walks through PAX, sees a wave of exciting and inspiring indie games made by teams of 3 or fewer, and comes away frustrated. Why? Because there weren't enough proper businesses represented? What does that even mean? You just admitted that these indie teams are doing great work, but then you're upset because they're not expensive enough because the teams are so small?
I'll cut this.
This is Pod 5, the first fully immersive sleep system, built to give you all.
And then you go on to quote developers saying that publishers are demanding bigger budgets to take their pitches seriously. And somehow that isn't the problem. You don't see the connection. The developers at PAX didn't create the system, the publishers did. This entire bloated mess is a natural result of an industry obsessed with scale, overspending, and risk aversion. These indie devs are simply surviving despite it. But of course, now we arrive at the heart of the article, that scary word, deprofessionalization, and suddenly the tone shifts. The accomplishments of these studios gets brushed aside. Their success becomes a problem, not a triumph. Because, oh no, they shipped a game that people actually liked without a marketing team, or a Ludo narrative synergy specialist, or a lead experiential curator.
No. Wait.
Guys, I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it. One of the biggest issues in AAA development is bloat. Bloated teams, bloated budgets, bloated management structures where nobody knows what the person next to them actually...
And this all started, well, okay, it started a long time ago, but it became completely unsustainable and out of control during COVID, where video game companies, just like the movie industry, for instance, saw a way to try to capitalize on the fact that people couldn't leave their homes. So they hired tons of people to come in and try to rush projects, and then they just didn't put them they just didn't get rid of them. There's like, I heard this through another creator online, the fact that when like Blizzard has a particular problem with this, where if they downsize a team or a product, like let's say they're downsizing the entire structure inside of Hearthstone, right? Their online card game. Instead of getting rid of those people, they move them to other teams, even if they don't have tool sets or skills that fit the positions they're being put in. That's the type of bloat we're dealing with inside these big companies. People who don't have may not have a lot of experience in the job they're doing. It doesn't mean they can't end up doing it. You know, there's a lot of on the job learning. That's obvious, right? But I you know, normal companies don't operate like this. Okay, if you put together a team for products or a customer, for instance, and all of a sudden you lose that customer, you don't keep those people on unless they're special. And I mean special in the best way, that they are talented. They are someone you should fight to keep in your company. Then you find a spot for them inside your company. You do not keep them out of obligation, out of a sense of duty, because you hired them. If what they were hired to do is no longer there, you do not just find another position for them and then drain your possible and potential profits that you then have to pass on to either the owner, if it's privately held, or owners, or shareholders who are the by proxy owners of companies when they're publicly traded. You don't do that. But that is what the video game industry did. And this is just one of the glaring differences of how the video game industry views itself as opposed to every other commercially driven business out there right now.
Even does. You end up with departments that are built to manage other departments, pipelines that are so tangled that you can't even see the final product, and a burn rate that is so high it is a miracle that anything gets shipped at all. And then they warn us, brace yourselves, marketing might be the first roll on the chopping block. Good. Most marketing departments in this industry are completely useless. It has never been easier to get your game in front of players if your game is actually good. You can't fake that kind of traction anymore. You can spend millions of dollars plastering Avowed on trains and buses, put an ad in Times Square, but it won't matter if the game doesn't deliver. Meanwhile, Expedition 33 has people screaming about the soundtrack, the story, the characters, the combat, because the game itself is worth talking about. You don't need a 30-person marketing team if your game hits. You need a game that deserves to. That shift is happening right now. That's what's going on. And it's not deprofessionalization.
And the game industry is different. Okay. It's just different. For marketing, like he was mentioning all those other places, like getting it on like billboards and all these other places. That is not one of the best ways to actually get it in front of people who are potentially going to buy this product. Doing things like talking to content creators, having them play the game, whether they're YouTube, TikTok, X, Kick, Twitch, whatever platform or platforms that they create content for, having them do it and then create content around what they've seen in that game is far more reaching and powerful now than any of the other ways he just said. Now, there are games that kind of transcend that line to what people inside the video game, realm, I'll say. I'm not talking about, game companies refer to things as. They refer to people who don't play video games as or don't play video games very often or constantly, normies, right? Like, some of these games are so good, they kind of transcend and blur and go past that line into regular, normal society and circles. And, Claire, Expedition 33 is one of those games that was so good, like Baldur's Gate, so good that people who don't play video games know about the game. Okay. And they didn't pump a bunch of money into all these TV commercials, billboards, things like that. They did it through word of mouth and most importantly, because the product was good and not a pile of shit.
It's rebalancing. This industry has been top heavy for too long, and that weight is finally starting to shift towards the people who actually build the damn thing. The article then pivots to acknowledge a different kind of success story, the creative renegades, the ones that are making weird, original, impossible to greenlight games that traditional publishers would have laughed out of the room. Rigney praises them, calling them out as this is the only creative industry on the planet where one person can make $100 million making something by themselves, which, yes, true, but the tone here still drips with discomfort, like it's a cool fluke and not something to build around. Now, to the author's credit, they go on to clarify that small teams aren't obligated to hire anyone. They are doing what they can with what they have, and better tools have made that possible. But here's where the framing starts to slide sideways. They say what feels wrong is that so few people benefit from this new status quo. Not that small teams are succeeding, but that too many people aren't a part of it. They then go back to Rigney and bring up a new example, Aaron Rutledge, former lead designer of League of Legends, Black Ops 4, and Apex Legends, now running a consultant firm called Area Denial, basically a hired gun. The writer admits that his career sounds romantic, but then calls this model a structure that celebrates the few over the many, one that elevates roles like design and programming while leaving out non-essential positions. What is this? How do you go from saying that this is the only creative industry on the planet where one person can make $100 million by themselves to immediately following that with what feels wrong about this is how so few people seem to benefit from this status quo? Do you hear yourself? This is the benefit. That is the shift. We are no longer living in an era where you need to get a green light from a publisher, sit in a cubicle farm for 6 years, and then get your name buried.
What they're saying is that there isn't a large pool of people draining all of those profits that got created by that game. There doesn't need to be. If these other creative people aren't part of these literal soul and wallet sucking vacuums that are AAA developers right now, they can as well join small teams and have a lot more teams making good games, as opposed to the crap and slop and just regurgitated stuff that we're seeing out of AAA developers right now, where there's such a lack of clarity with where these studios want to go with things, with games. It's like they have this massive checklist of things they have to include in there, and it includes all sorts of things. That they want to have sustainability long term because they've invested so much money, so it's got to have a live service, facet to it in whatever way they can try to make that happen. And then they have to make sure that they put in things that will make every demographic and every category of gamer happy. And then, they tend, when they try to check all these boxes, a lot of them recently have just like not ended up checking boxes that are kind of important for most of the people who play the game, which is story, continuity, a sense of purpose of why you're playing the game and why you even want to be in the game and immersed in that world. It's mind-boggling that this is someone that is stuck in the system thinking that these indie games are so great, but you know what? Only 3, only 10, only 30 people are benefiting from the success of that one game. Why can't we have more studios that make those types of games instead of these bloated studios that make AAA games that cost $500 million or $250 million, and then they have to raise the price up to $70, $80, $90 to make their money back because they already know they're not going to sell enough copies because it costs too much money, and they already know their game isn't good in the first place. Why can't we just have more smaller studios doing more games that have what is the word I'm looking for? Concentrated, focused purpose and message and game style and gameplay that they're trying to give the player. Because the studio that made their Expedition 33, like everything about that game was centered around the player experience. The music was incredible. The gameplay is incredible. Even though it's a turn-based system, I have heard from many people that hate turn-based battle systems in games, and yet this brought new and unique things from the timed dodge and parry systems and jump systems during that combat that made it engaging enough that it didn't feel stale and non-innovative like regular turn-based like combat systems. And it's all put together so well that you just want to keep moving on in the story. That's the whole point. And it seems like AAA studios now are of the mindset that they deserve and are entitled to us buying their game regardless of how good it is. That's the point of view they've had up until now, that, you know what, we make a game, you should buy it no matter what, whether it's a pile of crap or whether it's fantastic, it doesn't matter. Because we made it, you should buy it. And thank goodness that gamers have started to not just buy all of this regurgitated slop that some of these studios are putting out, and they're actually voting and speaking with their wallet, which is what they have to do about anything that you want to change inside the gaming industry and any business thing as well. If you're not happy with any type of company, service, like the only way you can make any type of substantial change is with your wallet, by not purchasing, participating, or giving them the money, and by players not buying games like Dragon Age the Veilguard. That's just a really good recent example. I'm not going to get into Concord and all those other games, but games that just didn't feel cohesive. They just didn't feel, it was always missing something. It just didn't feel right. But yet we should have bought it based on the fact that they made it, or that it's from a certain series or franchise. No. And I'm glad that gamers have finally decided to stop doing that, because that is exactly the entitlement that this person here is talking about. That they just feel like, I'm in the system, therefore how can I benefit from these small indie studios, since they hire and have so few people inside the industry. There's so few people, then the other extra people that maybe are in bloated companies should peel off, like a lot of these small developers have done, and create their own studio, make their own game that they actually want to make. But I think that a lot of the bloat inside these companies aren't people with that type of motivation at all. They're just what we call bandwagoners, which just want to be there for the ride. They don't have that motivation, that creative spark, that desire to make something unique, something that they have an idea for, that they want to see come to fruition. They just don't have it. And it's sad. They just want to be there for the ride. And I think that's one of the problems right now.
In credits under 5 layers of management. We are witnessing one of the most democratizing eras in video game development history, and somehow your takeaway is, but not everybody gets to enjoy the ride? Of course they don't, but that's always been the case. But now the door is actually open. Look at Path of Exile and Grinding Gear Games, a tiny studio in New Zealand that grew to a 200-person powerhouse that's working on 2 full-scale games. Look at Expedition 33, built by ex-Ubisoft developers, a composer that they found on SoundCloud, and Jennifer Svedberg Yen, a former private equity investor who...
Lead writer, this story is so good. That's crazy. Hollow Knight's so good. Elden, oh my goodness, she's got great taste in games. The fact that they found these people, I didn't even know this, but the fact that they found 2 of the aspects about this game that people rave about the most, the writing, story, and the music, outside of the gaming industry itself, just speaks to how many problems there are inside the gaming industry and how much talent there is outside of it. And we shouldn't always be looking inside what we know to fill roles for these types of positions. You need to take whoever can give you and help you get to that end product that you're looking for. Give you that drive, that vision, that dedication to get there, to make the overall project theirs. And this is amazing.
Just wrote what might be this year's game of the year. The indie boom is not excluding people. It is including people that AAA would have never hired in the first place. That old system kept the gates locked. This new era is tearing them down. What you're seeing isn't exclusion, it's a healing process, a long overdue correction of decades of bloat, overreach, and creative stagnation. I'm going to get some people that are going to disagree with me on this, and that's fine. I do not believe in supporting these bloated structures, systems, and bureaucracy more than anything else, all in the name of job preservation.
I totally agree. Absolutely 100% agree. Nobody, after COVID, I believe it's even more. Nobody deserves to have a job or the job they have. Nobody's entitled to their job. You keep your job by performing and doing it well, and as long as your job is needed. When your job isn't needed, you don't have a job. That's the way it should be.
I think that it is a pathetic narrative that is driven by people that resist progress. And in a lot of cases, because they don't want to adapt, they want to make it everybody else's problem. This is something that has happened since the dawn of industries in trade. Anytime there are changes in the market, anytime new technology is introduced, old jobs go out, new jobs come in, some jobs get displaced, and in some cases, like the video game industry, well, the industry gets decentralized. That's why we see a private equity investor starting to write for video games.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Media's gone through the exact same thing. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a guy that worked 8 years in construction that has no journalistic background whatsoever that's writing reviews for video games and writing video essays on YouTube. I think the real problem for these people, and what really scares them, is that average, everyday people are getting involved in these industries and in some cases getting rich because of it, and they don't like that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Dude, this is a horrible gaming experience. How do you live like this? Well, I don't know, Linus. I don't have time to research upgrades for this.
Freedom is scary. On top of that, these people do not have the credentials that they want. They didn't go to college for it. Sounds like a you problem, not a me problem.
That's right.
Let's be honest. This article, especially coming from the media's point of view, this is more about control. Indie games are harder to predict. They're harder to market. And for them specifically, it is much more difficult for them to monetize from the outside. Not for everybody else, but it definitely is for them. No more guaranteed preview cycles. No more demos behind closed doors. No more getting cozy with their PR team. No, you're on even footing with guys like me, and I bet that keeps you up at night.
Yep, absolutely.
But this argument is going to shift now. Now instead they want to talk about who does not benefit from going indie, because indie developers do not hire these specialists that only do one thing. And it's really funny because this feels like this is the only industry where doing more than one thing is a threat instead of just doing your job.
I said this earlier. There is no other industry where if you're not multifaceted that you end up keeping a job in most big companies. Like no one. It's very few, far in between, but yet it sounds like the gaming industry has tons of these positions inside companies that are just specialists, and that's all they do. It's unsustainable. It's completely unsustainable.
The writer then goes on to say, my PAX trip validated my fear that 3 professions are especially vulnerable in this deprofessionalized world: artists, writers, and those working in game audio or music. These roles seemed vulnerable because on these small teams, they were roles that developers mentioned doing in some sort of shared or joint fashion. All 3 risk compartmentalization as asset creators, their work treated as products you can purchase off of a store shelf. The writer then expands on this fear by pointing to broader industry shifts. He argues that in-house art positions are disappearing as studios are increasingly outsourcing asset creation overseas to cut costs. This move, he suggests, is being reinforced by the rising use of AI-generated art, something he openly criticizes for its poor quality, but sees it gaining momentum anyway. In his view, the value...
And the thing about that AI-generated art thing is that for games that are PC games that are sold on Steam, there has to be a tag associated with it that AI was used in the creation of the game. You even have to specify how it was used, because Co-Carnage actually explained this really well in the most recent Drop Frame. But AI is used in 2 different ways in gaming currently. AI can be used in the preparation and execution of the game, or in the actual content creation inside the game. A lot of studios use it in the other aspect, the outside of it, in the completion, where they use it to complete tasks, do scheduling, things like that, to streamline a lot of stuff around creating the game, but don't use it inside the game itself. And when you put a game on Steam, you have to actually say how AI was used in your game. There are 2 different camps on this. Some people are steadfast against it, and they'll say, everything AI creates is slop, and I don't want to play a game that has it. And other ones are like, I don't really care if it plays and looks and sounds and is fun to play. I don't really care if it's AI or not. I don't know yet which one I'm on. I understand both sides, and I see a future where games are created with the help of AI in games that are, like, let's say a game like Oblivion or Elder Scrolls or Fallout, an open world, open-ended kind of RPG game, right? I can see games like that, or even MMOs, right, where they in a future they could use AI to actually help make custom on-the-fly content based upon what people are doing inside the game, and how that AI could then be writing back decisions onto that person's computer and storing it, locally in a save file that can make that game absolutely positively unique to anyone else's game. And that could be built into the game at that point. It doesn't have to be this exorbitant, huge, humongous table of variable choices that have all of these flow charts leading to all these different things that have to all be pre-programmed into the game. That you could use AI in that way inside the game to truly create unique experiences for almost every single person. You see that in some of these anime and manga where they have like online MMOs, things like that, where they use AI to kind of like create content on the fly. I can actually see a future where that is used maybe in a single player type experience first, but and I think that is incredibly valuable to create a custom experience that could be different literally every single time you play, not because you're just choosing different option A or B on this particular thing, so it's going to branch off this way or that way. Just the fact that that AI could be managing those things for that game and doing it, uniquely for that individual player. So AI is a whole nother ball of wax, a whole nother deal. But I will say this, AI is not going anywhere. AI is here to stay. Whether we like it or not, it's not going anywhere. And how quickly it gets really, really good, I don't know, but it's not going anywhere. There's no way any industry is going to stop using AI when it will save them a ton of money to use AI in the future. That's just the way it is.
The value of artists is being eroded not because their work is bad, but because it's now seen as something that can be cheaply replicated or bought off of a shelf. Even art directors, he noted, are surviving not on creative output, but on their ability to delegate. When it comes to narrative, the critique gets a little bit more personal. The writer cites industry layoffs, pointing out that writers made up the highest percentage of reported job losses in the last year. He attributes this to two diverging trends: the success of games that minimize storytelling altogether, and the increase in tendency for story-driven titles to be written by a select few, usually the creative director or maybe one or two trusted collaborators. Leaving.
You know why? Because you get a convoluted shit show when you involve 30 people in a writing process. Like, you can't have 20 different writers all with their own freedom to write and say whatever in the hell they want without one person driving the vision. And nobody tells anybody no inside these gaming companies currently because they won't hurt feelings. They're afraid to do that. And the problem with that is that's why the narrative is such a pile of shit in all these AAA titles now, and it feels so discombobulated and completely like garbage, is because there is not a single person driving that narrative, taking what all these people submit into a story and making it work in a cohesive fashion. They have writing teams. No, what he just said at the end is 1, 2, 3 people. That's how you get a concise, clear, and good story, because there's less people messing it up, adding in little things that don't matter to the story, don't make sense, because it's just something they wanted to throw in for some reason, and just diluting what could be a very tight and nice story.
Fewer roles for dedicated narrative teams. He also then reflects on long-standing frustrations that writers face in game development, many of them brought in late, treated as an afterthought, or positioned in conflict with the broader design goals. Some studios have tried to bridge this gap by rebranding writers as narrative designers, combining them with implementation, but the implication, he argues, is clear. Being just a writer is no longer enough. As for music and sound design, his concerns are much more structural. Audio work, he says, is increasingly handled through asset libraries, with implementation often falling on the other team members. While some composers prefer the freedom to work across multiple projects, he sees this shift as another sign that audio professionals, like artists and writers, are being treated more like support staff than essential contributors.
As I went through my timeline, I realized that, I was sexualized, I think 5 years old, and I started to experiment.
And there it is, the famous self.
I totally disagree with that. In the sense that we've seen two examples, okay? Perfect examples. Doom the Dark Ages. Everyone said the soundtrack, it was okay, but not as good as previous ones. And that's because Bethesda got rid of the composer that worked on all their stuff, because I believe it's the one composer that also writes and made the score for things like Skyrim, Oblivion, but also Doom. I could be wrong. I'll check that. But he had some false, cancel thing where he was tried to be canceled. He was exonerated, but that they still didn't hire him back. And the Doom soundtrack is a perfect example of it. It doesn't hit the same, and people notice and know. They know. Okay. And then when it hits and it's perfect and it's there at every step of the story and it nails down the moments perfectly. That's Expedition 33. You know, the people don't downplay that soundtrack, and people don't downplay the bad aspect of Doom's new soundtrack either. It is important. It is valued when it's good and when it fits and when it works and when it adds to the overall experience of the game.
Self-insert, the emotional reveal, and honestly, probably the real source of this article's frustration. It's kind of hilarious that they still can't see the correlation. Small teams prioritizing design and programming, and those are the games that are succeeding. I hate to be the one to say it, but artistic roles are less essential, at least at the start. If a game isn't fun, if it doesn't play well, it doesn't matter how pretty the lighting or how cinematic the game feels. Indie is thriving right now because it's the exact opposite of AAA. It's gameplay and performance first, everything else after. That's what players care about. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that there's no value in talented artists, musicians, or writers. Hell, they're some of the most celebrated people in the industry. There absolutely is value in them. But let's be real, those roles only exist because of programmers and designers. Without their core systems and mechanics, you're not making a game, you're making a slideshow with music. These creative roles, no matter how skilled, are built on top of a foundation that they didn't pour. They're contributors, not cornerstones. And those roles can only thrive if the studio is stable enough, profitable enough, and able to actually invest in things that aren't essential to core gameplay. What's wild to me is the complete lack of accountability here. This article paints it like it's some sort of injustice that small indie teams often share roles, where creative directors also write, animate, and score the game, where people that are rigging the characters are also building the gameplay systems that they move through. But that's not dysfunction, that's adaptability. That's what a generalist is. That's how most industries work outside of gaming. Hell, I would bet almost everybody that is watching this video right now does way more than their job title suggests. When I worked in construction, I was constantly operating outside of my role, handling HR things like hiring and firing, writing environmental reports, coordinating with government agencies, researching equipment, contacting suppliers, creating and fulfilling purchase orders, even learning to read P&IDs and mechanical drawings. I got more involved in the process because that's what my job required. That's what being useful meant. Wearing multiple hats isn't a threat to job security. It's a privilege. It's a responsibility. And in most industries, it's expected. Look at Ubisoft. They are...
In most industries, it's the only way for you to end up keeping your damn job. That's all there is to it. Nobody in other industries have this expectation that no matter what is happening, that my job is safe because, you know, I fulfill role A. No, that's not the way most, in fact, the vast majority of businesses operate.
Are bloated with specialists right now, yet they are completely directionless. The first Assassin's Creed trilogy was made with around 150 developers. Now they have over 1,000 people working on a single entry, and every release gets further away from what made that series special. Guillaume Broche, Sandfall CEO, is also the creative director of Expedition 33. When that team started with just 8 people, they all had to become generalists, taking on roles that they had never done before just to make it work. And in some cases, they ended up excelling at things that they had never tried. And you know what? That made the game better. It made it cohesive, because when people are designing systems that are also touching the visuals, the animation, the design, you start to get alignment, you get purpose. You don't get this Frankenstein project where nobody knows what somebody else is building or how this whole thing fits together. That's the real problem with over-specialization. It turns game development into a game of telephone. The longer the pipeline, the more distorted the message. What the designer envisioned at the very beginning gets twisted by the time it reaches the animators, then further when it gets to VFX, and it's lost entirely by the time marketing gets their hands on it. The more segmented the roles, the more disjointed the final product. Maybe the uncomfortable truth that this writer doesn't want to hear is that this industry was never meant to fully support specialists, or at least to the degree that they have been. Maybe it's time for more people to take on more roles, because the industry got into this mess that they're in right now precisely because they put too much weight on how things look and not how they play. We've got studios that are dropping hundreds of millions of dollars on graphics and cinematics, but they can't even be bothered to optimize their games to run above 30 FPS. We've got devs spending 6 months on hair physics while the combat feels like it was designed by an intern. What does the animation budget matter if the story's a joke? What does a beautiful world mean if the systems inside of it are broken? Maybe people need to stop clinging to being in a specialized role and take a step back and ask how they are actually contributing to what matters most, whether these games are fun or not. So no, I do not buy into this narrative of deprofessionalization, not for a second. What we are seeing isn't the decay of the games industry, it is its next evolution in game development. And honestly, it's not even new. This is what the industry was born from. Small teams, self-starters, people that knew how to build the whole damn thing.
Exactly. Like, how do they think this all began? Like, small groups of people or individuals themselves starting to create games. Blizzard was created by a group of people. It wasn't started by 500 or 1,000 or 5,000 people coming together to create a game. When they created their first games, it was with very little people, under 20 or 30 people, I think, at the time. Way less, probably. I mean, that's what it was. And they didn't have one thing. Oh, I can only rig characters in the game. That you can't do that on a small team. You have to bring more to the table if you're going to be in this industry and you're going to do that. And that's what they did back then. And that's what they're going to be doing now.
Not just a piece of it. Is a professional somebody that only knows how to do one job, or is it someone who understands the entire process and can bring something to life from start to finish?
And even if you don't do the other aspects of the job, knowing how they work and having a fundamental understanding of that helps to create cohesion inside that game. If what you're doing runs counterintuitive to what the team that is creating the combat system does, if you're rigging characters or creating special effects, that's just going to cause issues and make it look off. It's not going to flow. It's not going to look good. It's not going to look like it works together. And if you understand how other systems in a game work, even if you don't do it, that goes leaps and bounds towards creating a complete, fun, and cohesive game. One that doesn't feel discombobulated, and like it's like they had this big game and they just took pieces out, scrambled it all around like on a table, like a deck of cards, and then just like put it all back together in whatever order they wanted to. That's what some of these games feel like now. And when you understand how other systems in your game work, it eliminates those types of things.
Because I know which one I would hire. This whole conversation feels less like a warning and more like job preservation for the sake of job preservation. And look, I get it. Transitions are hard. Watching your field change around you is hard, but we're not entitled to the status quo. The reality is the industry is shifting. You have to shift with it. That's not cruelty. That's life.
Consumers don't care about the status quo. They don't care about what you have to go through at your job if you produce a product that people have to buy. They don't care. They don't care if you have to work 6, 12-hour shifts a week to help the company make that loaf of bread that they buy at the supermarket. They could care less. They just want it and be able to buy it and to be able to buy it at a reasonable price. That's all they care about. They don't care about your personal plight, unfortunately. They don't.
Dust yourself off, learn something new, expand your role, and if you believe that your skill set is so valuable, then you need to go out there and prove it in more ways than one. Before every studio wanted to balloon to 20,000 employees, most of this work was contracted. Teams were leaner, production was tighter, and when one game had ended, well, those people then moved on. But over time, these companies got greedy. They scaled up their output. They held on to these massive headcounts, and instead of letting people go when one project ended, they slid them on to pre-production of the next project, over and over until the weight of this all collapsed. That is not Indie's fault. That is your leadership's fault. Indie is not a threat.
Absolutely.
It's the path forward. It's the path out. Unless you genuinely believe that your entire career hinges on someone else giving you a cubicle and a title, there is an opportunity for you out there. People are buying these games. They are selling, and they're not just passion projects anymore.
Nope.
Many of them are growing into sustainable, expanding studios with the resources to be able to hire new specialists when they scale. That's the natural cycle. That's how a new forest grows, not from keeping dead trees standing, but from planting new ones and giving them the space to rise. So if you're standing around waiting for AAA to save your job, I have bad news. They're not going to, but someone else might.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like getting Bateman when you need Batman.
Stop.
Or hell, you might. You know, it's actually funny. The last time that I read an article from GameDeveloper.com, they had written an article that was called Yelling is Not Journalism by Brendan Sheffield. And that article was essentially saying that, you know, the whole Baldur's Gate 3 drama, when that was going on, was an opportunity to tell players why they get unfinished games and basically why we should be okay with it, and we need to be empathetic and we need to buy microtransactions and DLCs, and how it's not the developer's fault. But the funny thing is, we're customers. We don't have to be empathetic. And this entire thing, yet again, reads like a cry for empathy.
Mm-hmm.
But empathy doesn't make better video games, and better video games need to be made for these companies to be able to make the money, to be able to keep these specialists employed. Jobs follow the money. So regardless of how necessary you think your job is or how much it needs to be protected, at the end of the day, we are the ones that decide what's necessary and what's not. Inflation keeps going up. The price or cost of living continues to increase. And now these game companies want to increase prices on video games. Players cannot gamble on $70 to $80 games. And those are the kind of games that these specialists are involved in. Why do you guys think that Doom the Dark Ages isn't doing well in sales? It's because the game does not deliver on the value of the price that it's being charged for.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But they have to charge that price. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to make the money back to be able to pay the specialists that they have working on the game. Industries and the world itself is constantly evolving, and you cannot believe that your job will be protected or that your job is somehow more valuable than others. I think that it is incredibly narcissistic for you to believe that the world needs to capitulate or protect you because you are only good at one thing or you only want to do one thing. You can do that. You can be that person. But if you're going to be that person, you have to live with the consequences of your lack of flexibility. If you do not bend, you break. And I think a lot of these folks are going to break. You are not going to get any pity from the average consumer. It's just not going to happen.
Nope.
Because we all know that if we say something like, that's not my job, that almost always leads to not having a job.
Exactly. If your supervisor says, you know what, can you help do this? Or your manager says, can you help do this? And you say, nope, not my job description. They are not going to not notice, not take notice, and not mentally stow that away about you. You may very well quickly end up without a job if you're not willing to do extra things than exactly what's in your job in the normal workforce.
And when it comes to writer, artist, or musician, these are things that in common society that we view as hobbies. And you guys have the opportunity. No, you guys have the privilege of making that your job. It is up to you to protect it, not the world. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to share the video with your friends. Make sure to like the video, share the video. I already said share. Subscribe to the channel. Comment down below. And follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Twitter. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay cool. Stay righteous. Stay safe. Peace.
Family.
And so the...
All right. That was awesome. I am going to put this in the different chats. Please check it out, because it's awesome. He makes great videos. I'm going to be crediting this when I'm going to be putting this up on YouTube, so I'll be crediting him as well. I'll link to this exact video. So, yes, awesome stuff.
You need to stop what you're doing right.
All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to take a really quick break. Just going to go and talk to my wife real quick. So I'm going to put on some music. I'm going to put on the BRB screen, and I'll be right back. camera on so I can eat my chips. But we are watching a Flickazoid video. It's him talking about Doom: The Dark Ages. His wife's boyfriend bought it for him. Flickazoid is awesome. His videos are funny as hell. Camera on so I can eat my chips. But we are watching a Flickazoid video. So let's go ahead and start this. Let me make sure it's all the way rewound. Full screen. And I'll turn my camera off and we will watch this.
Spoiled? Doom: The Dark Ages is taking inspiration from the original Doom games because, as we all know, Doom peaked with H-Doom on the T83 calculator. Right off the bat, if you want to know if Doom: The Dark Ages is worth buying, I'm gonna say this. A lot of people judge their buying decisions on a $1 per hour of fun basis, and if you get this game for free, it lives up to those expectations. So in my situation, having received this for free from my wife's boyfriend, I must say I think this game is fantastic. Doom 2016 was run and gun. Doom Eternal was smoke, crack, and shoot back. Doom: The Dark Ages is parry and turn my headphones up real loud so I can't hear my wife and her boyfriend wrestling in the other room. Some franchises never know when to change. New Doom doesn't know when to stop changing. At this rate, Doom 4 is gonna play like Just Dance. The Doomslayer's gonna be popping that ass on the dance floor to Tay-Tay. Them removing 90% of the glory kills and replacing them with bumper cars is great because I love playing bumper cars with my wife's boyfriend. I like that they toned down the berserk mode to a slightly impolite mode. This is way better. Here's the old toxically masculine mode. And here's the new based mode.
You would like it if I called you Mommy's good boy. Are you Mommy's good boy?
Yeah, the soundtrack's a little weird in the new game, but we'll get to that later. I'm glad they're making this game less masculine, because after playing Doom Eternal, my wife's boyfriend started getting scared of me. After all those glory kills, all those chainsaw kills, a berserk mode where you fucking punch a demon's leg off. I hope hell is wheelchair accessible, bitch. God! I'm getting chubbed up just thinking about it. I might tell him that I'm banging my wife tonight. But Doom: The Dark Ages is so much better because it gets me back to being that sensitive guy. Let's not rip and tear until the job is done. Let's rip and tear into a Ben & Jerry's and talk about our feelings. Hopefully they add in a femboy Doomslayer skin later this year. Doom 2016 made you feel things and made you feel powerful and strong and manly. This game makes me feel like I should play that game again. In Doom: The Dark Ages, we are back as Lizzo. Doom Dark Ages is out, and all jokes aside, in today's quadruple A gaming market, even their worst game is better than most of the schlock that comes out today. The mechs, the dragons baby-birding beams of hellfire down a monster's throat, it's just pure awesome shit in comparison to the last AAA game I played, where a very different monster was going down Yasuke's throat. And that's the last I'll talk about AC Shadows. No, it's not. Now, seeing as the mechs have no glory kills, you're more getting excited on the idea of mechs rather than the execution. Kind of like getting energized on the idea of cocaine rather than actually snorting it. But that's the last time I'll talk about glory kills, I promise. The flow of combat in this game is great until you go to do a glory kill. And if you're a little retired in the head, don't worry, because this is way easier than the last game. The learning curve in Eternal was a learning cliff. You either got it or you got motion sickness. I remember my papaw walked by me playing Eternal and he said, "Oh, you're playing Doom? I remember playing Doom back in 1993. Oh!" And he died just looking at 3 frames of gameplay from Eternal, and he couldn't take it. Joke's on his dumbass, though. In the Dark Ages, I'm doing everything he was doing in the senior home. Just playing frisbee and pickleball while grabbing ass and being slightly racist. And every time I worry that my T levels are getting too high, Doom Guy throws his Doom cheeks on the enemies instead of doing a really awesome takedown, and it drops my T level right back into Tesla owner ranges. Like those times when you're fighting this guy and you hit him with that shock shotgun, slap his ass off the mount, freeze him with the shield. Here comes the big finish. You see what I mean, though? It felt really clean right up until I hit that glory hole in the combat where the glory kill used to be. And before you say, Fleek, but the glory kills are still in the game, you get to see this shit 1 weekend a month with supervised visitation. I see these takedowns just often enough to resent their creator for taking the other 40 variants out of the game. How the hell do you put mechs in a modern Doom game and then not give them takedowns? I'm out here like a big-ass chihuahua humping their leg. They removed the X factor of this game, and for what? So I could go play Ultimate Frisbee? I'm throwing my pre-Ozempic Doom cheeks on the enemies, and the only time I get a glimpse at a takedown is if I can get my whopper slaying ass high enough off the ground to do one takedown they let me keep. Whoever decided to make the game flow better by replacing the iconic glory kills with a clunkier, slower, unsatisfying, and unresponsive alternative is a genius. This reminds me of when I took the wheels off my car to make it go faster. Now, for all the people saying this game is slow, a lot of people are going to recommend that you turn this up to 150% in the game slider settings. But I just don't think that's enough. So what I did was speed hack the game to go at 4 times the max speed, so I might finally And for my fellow 70-year-old AARP card holders in the audience, if you were annoyed by the constant weapon switching in the last game, you don't gotta worry about that any longer. Because in this game, you only need one gun. The best gun in this game is the shield, and the best shield in this game is the super shotgun. You use the shield like a lawnmower to clear out all the pretend enemies, then you use the shotgun to shit on the real enemies harder than Johnny Depp's ex-wife shat on the bed. Just BAM! 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 That's 3 big BAMs! Now you gotta get new sheets. Even when they gave me the BFC, I said, oh, thanks, that's really neat, but I'm already the big fucking top. Hang on a sec, I think my T levels are getting too high. Let me watch it take down. Oh, there we go. No, honey, I hope you and Fabio have a great night out. Use my credit card. If I had to rank the shield on my official lawnmower tier list, I'd rank it at S tier, maybe even Mega Milk tier. Story, remove all the dialogue. Nah, I'm telling you, I want only scenes of Doom Guy aura farming like Dirty fucking Harry. I want to make this a silent film. In fact, they make Doom Guy say one word. That's one word too many. Music. All I have to say is this. Now, if I had to rate this game on a buy, wait for a sale, or it's okay basis, I would say this is the type of game you get for free and go, hey, you know, for the money, it's not that bad. I had a truly incandescent time playing this game. 1 out of 10. Fuck you, you remove glory kills. Whee! Thanks to the flock of pimps for bankrolling this video, and another huge thanks to all the pimperers for buying me all this
Oh, for shit's sakes. That whole damn video. Damn it! Of course I did that. What the hell else is new? I'm gonna have to add something after the fact now. Stupid crap. Tell you what. You can hear me now? Okay, good. Good. Oh my gosh, I was so mad. I was sitting here talking through this one. Yeah, we just watched a Fleekazoid video about Doom the Dark Ages. If you're not familiar with Fleekazoid, funny as hell. Awesome videos. Recommend it. Before that, we watched one by Legendary Drops about indie games. All right, so I got another video I'm watching. These next two, they're kind of short, and they're both about changes that the Twitch is making. Yeah, his videos, funny as hell, and they are just like fast-paced, non-stop, go, 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 go. They're funny. Seriously funny, though. He said that it's okay. It's good if you get it for free. He gave it a 1 out of 10. His 1 out of 10, his out of 10 ratings are always all over the place, but every point he made was kind of good. The fact that it's slower than the other games, the soundtrack is nowhere near as good, and they took out one of the things that most people enjoyed the most, which was actually having good glory kills. You get like a glory kill like once every great while, and you basically have to build up to even be able to do one on any enemy at all. And it's the whole gameplay loop is shield, shotgun. That's it. Yeah, he's like, you know what? He's like, compared to the other AAA slop shit that's coming out, like this is way better. But nowhere near does it come up to the Doom name. Yeah, no. You know, with all the weapon swapping in Eternal and just the fast-paced gameplay in 2016, he's like, it's nowhere near either one of those. This one, the gameplay loop is very simple. It's the shield. It's the parry system where you bounce back their attacks, and then when you do that enough, you might actually be able to have a what do they call it? Glory kill. Yeah, I was gonna say fatality, but that's like from Mortal Kombat. You know, if you happen to have Game Pass, I would definitely play it just to play it. Oh, it's so good. Like, and the soundtrack. It's not that the soundtrack is bad. It just doesn't hit. Excuse me. Like, it's not a terrible soundtrack. There's something about the guy who has done all the Doom soundtracks. I think he actually does. Yeah, it doesn't have any oomph. Exactly. I think he was. I have to double check this, but I think he is like he was the music person at Bethesda, period. Like he did the soundtracks for, I think he did. Now, if not, then they actually have gotten rid of 2 composers, or maybe just 1. I know they had an issue with the Doom one where it was this whole like campaign to like get him canceled with fake allegations that were proved to be fake and not true, and then they didn't hire him back. But I also know that the composer, if it's not the same person that did the stuff for all the Elder Scrolls games, he's not there anymore either. The one who did Oblivion and Skyrim, those like incredible soundtracks, he's not there anymore either. I don't know if it's the same person or not, but it's like when we were talking about when I watched this game, how yeah, yeah, they're like, whoever they got to do this, I'm sure they're good, but it just didn't hit. It doesn't hit the same way. And like, soundtracks can substantially add to a game. Like they can take it from a good game to a great game, or a great game to an iconic game, because it just adds that much to the overall experience of the game. Like that, the Claire Expedition 33. I feel that because of RR2, they got the same composer, and they make the game a different game. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, with Claire Expedition 33, like that soundtrack is amazing, and you notice it. It adds to the impactful storytelling at the right times. The background music is incredible in the game too, but it ramps up and it helps drive home the narrative. And in Doom, the Doom soundtrack drives home the frenetic, crazy, fast-paced, bloody, violent gameplay that is Doom. That's what it does. That is what the heavy metal does that is composed for Doom. And it just doesn't hit the same. Like, almost everyone I talked to or have seen talk about it said they would literally turn off the in-game music after a little while and just turn on 2016 or Eternal's soundtrack and play that in the background. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the soundtrack isn't as good. Now, it's not bad. It's not like you look at it and go, oh, that's a terrible song. It just doesn't hit the same. And it is slower. It's a slower... it has its moments where it speeds up. Like when you build up enough, I don't know what it's called in the game, but basically combo points or like energy, where you can basically kind of leap towards someone with your shield. Besides that, though, you're just throwing your shield, blocking, and using either a mallet or a shotgun. That's it. Yeah, and it totally does, especially considering the last two entries just like built upon the crazy pace they had created with that series. And it's not that the shield is a really cool innovation. And if you were able to use it more to create that fast-paced combat style, it would be a lot better. From everything I've kind of read, I haven't played it. As a matter of fact, when it came out, I didn't have it, and I still don't. I just went back and I started playing 2016 again in my off time. If I get money to sign up for Game Pass and it's still on there, I'll get it. There's no way I'm going to pay full price for it myself, or if someone gifted it to me, I'd play it, but otherwise, no. Like I would play it on Game Pass though, for sure. Like I said, if I get extra money and can do it, but no, there's no way. I'll say this. I believe it's, let me see real quick. Store. $70, $69.99. $70. Oh yeah, no, because of Nintendo, I went on an absolute rant about Nintendo the other day. I don't think I did it on stream though. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. I did to you, right? I think you were in stream when I was going off about them. Yeah, Nintendo, the biggest dog shit company. Like, I hate Nintendo on so many levels. Yeah. Anyways, the fact that they think their shitty 20-year-old games need to be $10 to $20 more because they're re-releasing them on their brand new console that isn't even half as good as the consoles that came out last generation. Yeah, exactly. Like, they raised the price and then everybody raised the price of their games. Now, I will say, games that have been, and I say games, I'll say games in this sense, I'm talking about AAA games. That, they have been the same price for a really long time. I totally understand that. I get it. But it's gotten to the point where, and I think gamers are starting to do this, they need to stop buying a AAA game when it's not good. Don't buy Assassin's Creed just because you've bought the other 50 of them because you want to support Ubisoft. Don't do that. Buy it if it's actually good, because these studios are just putting out shit and it's costing hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, these games are so crappy in the sense that, I don't know. I ranted about it in the first video about the indie ones, but in my reaction, I basically I was just saying the fact that, people inside the AAA part of gaming are so worried about keeping their jobs, and a lot of these jobs are specialist jobs where they're only like good at one thing. And the problem is that a lot of studios are looking at kind of outsourcing things like writing, audio, some art work, right? Some of the art stuff. And they're worried about that. And I just feel that a lot of the problem with the games are the fact that with how big these studios have gotten, Like this department, this department, this department, they have no idea how anything in the other departments works or how it fits into the game. And on these smaller indie dev teams, they have people who do multiple things. They fulfill multiple roles. And the more you know about how what you're contributing to the game, how that works with the other things in the game, you don't have to know how to create the combat system if you are a character artist, or if you're rigging the artist, or you're doing environmental work. But if you understand how that system is integrated into the game, then it helps you keep the game cohesive and tight and feeling like it's meant to work together. And I think that's where the disconnect is starting to happen with AAA studios, is the fact that the teams are so big. Creative directors aren't doing a good job of actually piecing all this shit together, right? Yeah, exactly. 2K, horrible, right? And it's why these indie games are getting so much love, and like the sales are so good with them, is because they're just developing a better, more cohesive, complete product for less money. Like, I believe that Claire, Expedition, yeah, it's $50, it's $49.99, and it's like, honestly, up for like game of the year for most people. It's such a good game. I can't even play it, and I have it because my keyboard is a pile of shit, and it has. Have you seen anything about the game? Okay, it is. Here, let me do. It's a Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Let me do this. Okay, good. That is the one that's on. Okay, so this is the game on Steam. It's Claire Obscure Expedition 33. And it's... Are you familiar with RTS? Oh, not RTS. Well... Okay, yeah, you've heard about it, right? Like, this is one of those games where even people who don't play these types of games, like, or even don't play games all the time, which I know you do, but like this is even kind of seeped into what we call like the normie sphere, right? A little bit. It's more like, have you ever played any of the Final Fantasy games? Like Final Fantasy 7, 12, 12.5, any of those? Okay, so it's got, let me see if any of these actually show it.
Out here isn't what I expected.
I want to see. Okay, so this is the type of stuff it is. It's
Get ready.
So it's turn-based, right? So over here on the side, like these characters go in order. So it is a little bit like Baldur's Gate. It is a little bit like that. The only reason I said it not totally is because it's more like Final Fantasy, where it's less of that pulled back perspective and more like pulled in, just like a Final Fantasy games are, right? And I know that the real-time combat, some people don't like it, or the turn-based one. But even a lot of those people I've seen playing this game that don't like this type of combat, that really hate it, love this because it's not just about this, doing each ability. There is actually real-time stuff you have to do in between turns. So like you can parry, dodge, or jump certain abilities of the enemy. And if you get a perfect dodge or perfect parry, you can counterattack and do damage, which that's not, let me be clear, that is not normal in other in other turn-based combat game. It's not. And that's why a lot of these people that hate turn-based combat love this so much, is because it keeps your attention with the game, as opposed to clicking a button and just sitting there like this, okay, you know, waiting for the enemy to go. Like, you can actively mitigate damage coming against you, increase the damage you're outputting by perfectly doing these things and knowing when to do them too. It's like 50% turn-based and like 50% this, and that's just the combat part of it. But the story is so good, and like the music is so good too.
Is that a Kestrel?
I still can't believe they exist.
To what do we owe the pleasure of your company? I just need a foot. Aha!
You can turn into a Nevrod.
Exactly. It is. Yeah. No, that's what's funny. This is made by a small, like 30 or 40 person studio in France, and they are all made up except for two people. Okay. And the ironic thing I'll tell you about the two people in a minute, but most of them, except for two major people, they all came from Ubisoft and then created this studio. Like the director of the studio is the guy who made the original trilogy of Assassin's Creed, like the original ones. And then they had been there ever since, and they just got sick of it. Sick of the way the company was going, and they left and created this studio. But what's ironic is that the lead writer for the story that everyone says is amazing was a stockbroker analyst. And then because she was not in the game industry at all. And they found her, she was interested, came in, started writing, and she became the head writer for this. And the composer that made all this is someone they found on Soundtrack. That's it. They weren't people inside the industry. They found them outside the industry and pulled them in. And like, that doesn't happen in the game industry anymore. Like, they don't go outside to find talent. They just like pluck talent from inside this one little sphere that they have for AAA companies. And that's why they're so nervous about the games like this and like Schedule 1, which is made by a single dude, Tyler, a single guy in Australia, made that game, right? They're nervous about these because players are resonating with them. They're flocking to them, buying them, and loving them. Yeah, and part of the reason they're doing it is because the story can they're better games, right? And like I said, I think it comes down to a couple things. One, because people aren't only doing one part of it, they're doing multiple parts, so they understand how everything kind of fits together as well, right? And the fact that they just have a more clear vision. In these big companies, like, I've seen this, I've actually heard of this happening at Blizzard with WoW, right? Like, WoW's narrative has been so shit and just garbage since, well, for a long time, right? For a lot of expansions. And part of that stems down to how they handle things internally, where writers and things like that, there was not a single one person that drove, organized, and pushed a general narrative for all the writers. It's like writing a book and having 20 different authors create 20 different chapters of a story that you give them an outline for. That's what had been happening, right? Which is why they all just felt so discombobulated and didn't make sense at all. It's not. And I think with these small studios, like, they have like one, maybe two people who work on the writing. And the thing about that is you can stay true and be tight and clear and concise with where you want to go with the story when there's only one or two people doing it, right? If you have 40 people writing one large narrative, most of it isn't going to make sense because this part isn't going to fit with this part or that part or that part, and they're all not going to fit together because it doesn't make sense because no one is overseeing it all and going, you know what? And because they can't tell people that they don't want to use their stuff. They're afraid of it all. Yeah. think that the people that lead these big companies like Blizzard know nothing about how to make a game or anything. They don't. Like these big AAA studios are a lot like the waste of spaces on Twitter and X. Like they just like want to like build a status quo and not have anyone mad at them because they can't hurt anyone's feelings. And it's like, no, like as someone, the people who are in charge of that game need to be able to make those decisions. And yet in a lot of cases, their authority is, for lack of a better word, neutered. And like, they don't have the ability to drive it as a creative director or like the writing lead. They just don't have that ability. They're not given that freedom and an ability to do that. And it's bad. Yeah, and a lot of them just, I said this earlier, but like, yeah, a lot of them just have this big fat checkbox of stuff that they want to make sure it's all in their games. They want to make sure it's sustainable, so they have to have some sort of live service element inside of it. And then they have to make sure that this subset of people are happy with things in there, and it has to have these type of options in there, and it has to do this, and it has to do that. And then along the way, there's so much of this stuff that literally doesn't fit either the kind of game it is, the narrative of the game, or it adds nothing to the game, that it just makes it a diluted piece of shit. And that's what happens with AAA games as in the last 5+ years. None of it has been very good. There's exceptions here and there, like Larian, but Larian is also with Baldur's Gate 3. They're also not a massive studio either. They're big, but they are not huge like a lot of these studios are, like Ubisoft and Blizzard and you know, some of these other really big studios. Like, they're not like them. EA, they're not like that. So like, what we need is less people taking up space in these big companies that don't bring or add anything, and those people either need to go or leave and join smaller teams and make more good games than continuing to help AAA publishers push out the crap they're doing. Oh yeah, Elden Ring is absolutely fantastic, but they also have a creative head that oversees and does things. And let's be clear, Japan doesn't do the same shit that we do over here in the West. They don't. They don't have this checkbox where they have to include pronouns, they have to include this, they have to include women, or they have to include men, depending on what the story is, whether it fits the narrative or not. They don't prescribe or abide by any of that shit. They just don't. Especially China. China could give a rat's ass about it, as you saw with the Black Wing Wukong, right? They got all this backlash on X about how they didn't have women in the game, even though they did, and how they, you know, all these people were in a little social outrage about it, and they're just like, who cares? We don't care. We don't care. Black Myth Wukong was so good. Like the fact that I never even posted this video, but I had a whole thing about I had a whole video that I made about the about the video game awards. The fact that like a tech product promo game ended up winning, because that's all that game is, by Sony, right? It was promoting all their other games, and it was a tech demo for the technology inside their systems. That's all that game was. It was still a good, fun game, right? I've heard it's really fun. You know, it wasn't nearly as bad as Elden Ring's DLC winning game of the year, which is stupid that it was even on the list. But the fact that something that truly was a great overall game for what it was meant to be, like the base game of Elden Ring, right? It stayed true to what it wanted to be. It was great for what it is. That's what Black Myth Wukong was too. And it was, at least it got nominated, right? But anyways, like, yeah, really good game. Like, and they didn't cave to any of this because they don't care. Like all the Western developers, they care about what these like brain dead people on X really care, like really say, when these people who spout and like push whatever their agendas are on these companies, like they don't even buy the stuff that they're like totally offended and like totally offended by with these. Like they wouldn't buy the game with or without what they're mad about in the game. They just wouldn't even do it. So it doesn't matter. It's like they're not going to buy their product either way. They just want to be offended because it's a new movement for them to spend all their day online arguing with people about. No, we don't. Well, yeah, because A, it doesn't matter. And B, I think a lot of gamers have also realized the fact that they can, and it started to happen, right? You saw it with Dragon Age Veilguard, pile of shit game. Looked really pretty. Combat was okay. Voice acting was absolute trash for most of them, right? Because the writing was dog shit. Comes back to that whole thing. Like that thing cooked for way too long, cost way too much money, and it didn't make nearly enough money, right? They voted with their wallets and most people didn't buy it because it was crappy. And that's what gamers have to do. They have to stop buying crappy games that AAA companies put out just because it has a name on it. And they need to start buying games that they actually want to, or that are actually good games. If you want to support a developer, go ahead, buy it, but don't support them just because this bloated AAA developer spent $300 million and you feel like you need to give them money so they'll make another one. The one they're going to end up making is shitty if you continue to support the shitty entries in the series that they're putting out now. Of course they do. And you know what's funny? You know what I noticed today on Twitter? The fact that this is Pride Month, right? And it's also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Do you know what a lot of these big companies and big gaming companies and just big companies in general haven't done like they've been doing for the last like 8 or 9 years? Most of them, you don't see pride flags in their Twitter profiles this year right now. Yeah, exactly. You don't see it this year where you've seen it the last 8 years. That's because public sentiment has the pendulum has auto-corrected a little bit too far now as well. As a matter of fact, all these people who like to yell about this type of stuff and get mad about it are the same people that say that are the ones that say men don't matter. Who cares about men? Their mental health. I wish they'd all die. In game, saying that in game because I'm on Twitch. You know, like, yeah. Anyways, I generally don't like to do drama stuff, but I saw a video earlier by Rev, and he was just talking about a tweet from Rainbow Siege 6, right? The game, saying just happy Men's Mental Health, month. Check on your friends, check on your family, make sure they're all okay. If they're not, try to get them help, etc., etc. And the comments are just filled with people just saying things like, who cares about men? I wish Rainbow Siege 6 players, we'd be better off if all of them just unalive themselves in game, except not that. They didn't say it that way. I'm like, who cares about men's mental health? Blah, 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 blah. Like, I know exactly. That's why I can't stand going on Twitter either, because it's just a complete cesspool of people who, it's like Reddit. It's just like a cesspool of people who are just like sitting in their parents' basement, haven't showered for 2 weeks, and literally the only thing that literally keeps them waking up every morning and not losing their will to go on is them insulting, demeaning, and putting down other people online. That's the only thing that they live for. And yeah, and Twitter and Reddit's bad, and Twitter is really bad. And the thing about that is, all right. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the downsides, but overall good things about what Elon did is the fact that he lets everyone basically say whatever they want. Whereas before, it was just a leftist liberal echo chamber, which is what Blue Sky is now. Now he lets anyone say whatever they want, including left or right or whatever. You know, it doesn't matter what your affiliation is. Generally, you can say whatever you want on there. I mean, just look at all the people who say the horrible things on there they do now. But it's, yeah, I just, yeah, I don't even post on Twitter. Like when I go live, I don't do when I go live or anything. I just don't do it. I just don't. Yeah, and that's also troublesome because their views, Reddit mods are a whole nother subsect of basement dwelling adults generally that don't do anything else but like to flex their power over other people generally. Yeah, that's really the only thing I go on. I watch a lot of Twitch, obviously. I've been watching more Kick because I'm streaming on Kick now too. I'm streaming on YouTube, Kick, and Twitch all at the same time. And yeah, I mainly just watch those three. Honestly, I watch those three a lot. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's easy for me to do it. Honestly, I do it with a click of a single button inside OBS. And despite what people say, man, if you get enough viewers, and by enough viewers, like 20, 30, 40 viewers on Kick, you can actually make 50, 60, 70 bucks a stream just off their partner program. I know that like Tectone and Asmongold just started dual streaming and stuff, right? And Tectone actually showed his, he averages a lot of viewers, right? But between what he got from subs and then like their partner program, in like a 3-hour stream, he made like $3,800 in a 3-hour stream on Kick. And he had like 2,500 viewers. So, I mean, and that's a lot of viewers, right? But like, he had like 6,000 viewers on Twitch. So over twice as many than he had on Kick. And he made like $900. No, $600 or $700 on Twitch. Yeah. So it was like 6-7 times is what he's making on Kick. And he doesn't have to do anything else for it. He just pushes a button. That's it. You know, like I did. I pushed the button. I'm up. I'm running on all three right now. So it's, and you can get monetized. I got monetized on Kick, and I've got 3 followers on Kick. As long as you stream like 10 total hours on Kick, you can link up your stuff and start getting paid for when people come. And I already have a sub button on Kick, and I've got 3 followers. So yeah, it's way better. You remember when? Yep, exactly. And you know, I honestly, I really do think that multi-streaming is the future. I've heard a lot of people talk about it recently. And I just think that spreading your reach as wide as you can across different platforms is the best way to do it, so that your reach is to as many people as possible. That's because they hated Kick. But the good thing about what's happened is that with this type of change and more people doing it, like there was one migration of people that started either multi-streaming or moved when XQC went to Kick. And now with Asmongold and Tectone going, there's been like a number of other people. In fact, 2 or 3 VTubers that I watch regularly actually mentioned today that they're considering also dual streaming on Kick as well. Like a lot of people are gonna not fully move over, but just multi-stream, because why not? Like that can be live, this can be live, that can be live, and like if you pick up viewers here, you have some there, you can make money on any of the platforms, including YouTube. And so Yeah, I just don't see a reason not to. As long as you can do it with your internet, I see no reason not to do it. Yeah. YouTube is so much, from what I have heard, YouTube is so much easier to get discovered on than any other platform. I don't know why, but as long as you didn't start as like a YouTube video creator, exactly, right? If you get a short that pops off and then you go back to that person's main channel, their algorithm will push stuff to you, right? And then you can, from there, you can view their content and then see that they stream, oh, here and here, because you can link that, you can have all that set up in your profile on your YouTube channel that they go and visit. So yeah, it's way good. Like, yeah, there's no reason I'm not going to do it. I'm definitely going to be doing that. So yeah, I know a few people who blew up on YouTube. Exactly. Yeah. And YouTube pays really, really well too. Especially if it depends on what you do. Like if you just live stream and don't create custom videos, the good thing about a YouTube stream is that you make money on it after the fact. If people go back and view that stream, as long as you're set up for ad revenue, you get ad revenue on that after the fact. You don't get that on any other platform. None. But if you also plan your stream around making content inside that stream that you are then going to cut up and put on YouTube as videos, you make even more money doing it that way. Way more. Yeah, exactly, right? And you know what? As that number, I mean, I don't think people realize that number puts you in the top 5 to 3% of all streamers on Twitch with that many viewers and above. I don't think people realize that. They go, oh, you've only got 50, 75, 100 to 200 views. Like that puts you in like the top very small bracket of streamers on that platform. So that's not insignificant by any stretch of the imagination. Not at all. And I know firsthand a good number of creators that are around that number or below, and it's their full-time job. Now, some of them live in other countries, but still, like you can make good money doing that. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let me see that. Oh, geez, look at that.
What's going on, guys? Today we are looking at money, my boy. We're looking at some moolah. Yeah, I'm making this video because
how crazy is that, right? Look at that. Now, see, this blows my mind, okay? Right here. Yeah, okay. So what's still like, that's like 5 months. So he's making like $1,600 a month, right? Probably like $1,500 a month. That's still good money. That's really good money. And he only has that many followers. This is how many he's probably accumulated over the whole year, right? That's obviously, yeah, that's how many he's gotten. So with this many, there's one weird thing I've noticed too, that whenever you see one of these dashboards like this, where maybe they'll show it where it's the live one, where it says like, it'll say like followers, it'll say subscribers or sub points, right? Is that their average viewers, if you watch them regularly, right? A lot of them have probably double or triple the number of average viewers in subs, at least. 2 to 3 times the amount of viewers of subs than they do average viewers, which is crazy. Because when you see these small streamers with like 100 people watching them, right? They probably have 300 to 350 subs, which is not insignificant money. Yeah, some people are big spenders. Yeah. Like, yeah, they're not, that's not insignificant money. I think I just dropped a couple frames. You know, yeah, that is not insignificant money by any stretch of the imagination. So like on good days, that can be $1,000 a month. I know most of the subs come from a few people. They can, yeah. They can, like, I know a lot of people, you know, look at things like gifted and stuff like that. Like, look at how much of his is gifted, but still, like, there is a percentage of these that come back and end up being regular paid subs for people. Yeah, this one right here. Yep. Ah, okay. Yeah, front page of Twitch. That shows how much that makes. Yeah, it does. It does. And you know what's crazy is the fact that this on Kick with this many viewers, if he was part of the partner program, Kick straight out of the box pays 95 to 5. They give the creator 95% of the sub money, and they only keep 5%. And their partner program, they have tiers, right? Of average concurrent viewership. You get paid in bracket tiers. So if you have like 1 to 50, you'll get a certain amount of money if you average that for however many hours you stream. And the higher your bracket, the more per hour that you have average that many viewers you get as part of the partner program. It's insane. Like, seriously, most people literally report making 4, 5, 6 times as much money on Kick as they do on Twitch. It's crazy. All right, well, I got to go in and do something with my wife for 5 minutes, but not until 8. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, and like I said, the cool thing about having a live thing on here with your lives is, like, any of these lives, if anyone goes back and watches these and he has ads, he'll make money on that. Yeah, he'll make money on that. Let's see. That was, oh, damn it. Okay, is this it? Yes. I'm interested to see that, actually. Oh, this is where he goes over how much he makes per. Let's see what his YouTube thing is. Oh, wait, what is that? Let's see what that is. Okay. Lots of analytics. Oh, here we go, yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to be right back. I'll be back in just 1 second. Well, about 2 or 3 minutes. I'll put up the be right back sign.
been the most worth it. And bear with me here. It's my YouTube, right? Now, the actual dollar amount that I've made from this is not great. It's probably it's probably around like $8 an hour. I've probably spent like 300 hours in total on my YouTube, I would think.
Thank you.
But the reason this is the most valuable thing out of any of the others is I wouldn't have been able to build up any of these other avenues of income without YouTube, right? I pretty much grew everything from my YouTube. Like most of my Twitch viewers came from YouTube. Almost all of my school purchasers come from YouTube videos. Almost all my coaching clients come from YouTube, right? And so, yeah, that's why YouTube, like if you want to be a streamer, dude, YouTube is king. Just use YouTube to get people to watch you, to get clients for whatever packages you're selling or whatever, coaching or whatever. YouTube is king. If you're curious, like I made 180 from shorts. My most earning short was this one that got 850,000 views. It's
That's
still
insane.
climbing. I'm hoping it'll hit 1 million because that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, shorts earn around like $1 per 10,000 views or so. Is kind of how much you make on shorts, which is kind of shit. But it's
more for engagement, right? It's more for
it's pretty cool though.
Broadening the audience. I think
the video that made me the most, I would say, like when you prorate it to views, I don't know if prorate's the right word to use there. It's this one here, right? This 3-hour educational video, maybe 113.
That's a long one too.
3 hours to make. It's pretty good. You know, pretty good return to get this many subs and stuff like that. But my Jack's guide is definitely the best video I ever made. The only thing is I didn't monetize this until it had already gotten like 25,000 views. So if I was monetized at the start of posting this would look more like $300 or so, $250, $300.
But you can't do that right away. You have to have so many channel views before you can do anything.
There's not really anything else. I guess there's TikTok. I've made like $10 on TikTok, but
TikTok is more for exposure, just like shorts. Like the best example of that is Queso. Literally, he got as popular as he did because of TikTok. So TikTok serves the same purpose as shorts. Click through to your actual main channel or channels where they can find you and then help you create revenue that way. They totally will. They totally will. I mean, he averages 60K viewers a night on Twitch. And he has like 70,000 subs or some crazy thing like that. I mean, and that's just that. Like, that's what some people don't understand is like, exactly, Jinxie, what's the other guy's name? Sketch, right? Like those guys, like they make, it's not, the key thing is like not just that, like these guys make fat money off of when they can drive traffic back to YouTube as well, just for videos and things like that. Oh yeah, I have no doubt about that, none. Between ad revenue and other things, totally. Like, I was looking at Tectone was showing his today actually, and he has so much traffic going back to his YouTube for videos. He puts out like 5 or 6 videos a day, and he is due to make, like, in the last week, he's averaged like a couple million views a day on his videos. He's made $500,000 in a week just off of YouTube on his thing in 7 days. He's like 1 to 2 million views a day between all the videos he puts out. It's insane. And he does 5 or 6 a day just off of what he streams. Oh yeah, Mr. Beast makes tons and tons. But like, that's what's genius about what people like Asmin and like Tectone do is like, they just incorporate it into what they're already doing as a live stream, which is one way they're already making money. See, Mr. Beast does things where he creates a narrative, creates an idea, has like a story almost or a theme, and it takes time to make. Like these guys are just spitting out 5, 6, 7 videos a day just off of them sitting there yapping. That's it. I mean, like Tectone does it all like built into the stream. He'll be like, he'll find a bunch of shit that his community tells him it has happened or is interesting. He goes through it and says yay, nay, blah, blah, blah. Opens them all up on tabs, just like up here. And then at the very beginning, he'll go, YouTube, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then he'll watch the video and he goes, yep, there we go. And wrap it up real quick and go, thanks a lot for watching. And then as part of the stream. And that's what he does. He's all, another video down. It's crazy. Crazy. That's why I decided to just start watching some stuff before I ever play games. There's just a few videos, because then I can easily turn those into videos that I can just upload on YouTube. Because I did a playthrough of That's Not My Neighbor. Have you ever seen that game? It is, where's my Steam? Oh, here it is. Yeah, I did a full playthrough of this through one stream, right? And I spit out, how many videos is it? Let me see. So I've got, this is mine, right? This is mine. I've got 4. Actually, let me pull this off by itself. This over here. Like this is mine, right? See, I've got that many views. Like I've got like these videos like absolutely like popped off for me. Like as far as like me, like I was previously just uploading like VODs, right? Just to keep them here before I started streaming on here directly. And then I did this one, which was a crime scene demo playthrough. It got like 19. It actually got a like. But then this just like popped off like double, triple that on like episode 2 for some reason. You know, it's like this. And I did all of this in one stream and I just edited all these down. Like this is like one day. And then this is a single run where I just did one full day, right? So like that's like they do this in a day and they get like 500,000 to 1 million views on those a day. Yeah, it was popping off. Like I saw lots of people playing it. I bought it when I saw Shy Lily playing it, which is a VTuber. And I'm like, you know, that looks like a lot. It looks like hella fun. It was $2.99. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, I'm sure I can like, there'll be people who want to watch this. So like I can't believe like what was it? This, holy shit, impressions. That's crazy. That's not very good though, but still that's good. But yeah, like, so I can do some videos on here, throw them up, you know, and then maybe get to the point where I can actually monetize my YouTube channel. Because then that'll be good. Oh, yeah, yeah. You know what? Maybe I will do. There's a couple good moments. I think there's a lot of actually funny ass moments in that number 2 that a lot of people watched. A lot more people watched. And maybe I'll make a short or 2 out of those and throw them up. Because, yeah, like you said, at least it'll give us like click through, right? But yeah, Twitch is actually making some changes. Yeah, lightly edited ones. Twitch is actually making changes, and I'm kind of surprised. This one, yeah, this isn't very old. When was this? This was 1 day ago. This one I may not watch. It has more to do with the banning of Lucy Pyre and how hypocritical they're being. But this one's actually interesting. Twitch is changing how quickly and when people can actually start making money with Twitch. I think they're actually doing away with the
I've recorded over 6,000 videos on the TikTok app. Here's some tricks I've learned. Once I'm done recording, the first edit we hit is here. At the very start of videos, there'll be like 0.2 seconds of dead space. Cut that out. Between cuts, there's also usually a little bit of dead space. I cut that out too. Lagging, like I just put a little cut there. Now that the cuts are quick and snappy, I hit a filter. This is just to bring up the color a little bit. In certain environments, it can be a little bit washed out, so I bring sunny up to around 11%. And then for captions. TikTok auto-generates captions, and they're usually semi-accurate. If I'm feeling lazy, I just won't fix them at all. Instead, I'll just turn them to yellow. And for the longer captions that take up 2 or 3 lines like this one, just go in the center of the text, hit return, and it splits into 2 lines, which makes it a lot more readable. After that, I move them up. I've got my list of favorite sounds here, and then I'll just set the volume of my voice to max and this to around here. The only thing consistent about my captions is the Carter PCs hashtag. My phone is running fast and my thumbs are really going. I could do that whole process in like 1 minute and 15 seconds. Who needs Premiere? CapCut inside TikTok is where it's at. I'm
actually using CapCut right now to do all my editing. I use it. I use the free desktop version. I used to upload one of these videos. Actually, all those videos I used to create all of them, but CapCut's great. I didn't know it was inside there, though. I didn't know it was inside TikTok. That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, exactly. Just do it super short, super quick. Then you can upload it. Yeah, and I like this button too. Clip. And they make it like, I just recently learned this, but they make it really easy to cut out DMCA stuff out of your lives with YouTube as well. Like I have it set up to where it said it, I had a copyright claim on my first, not claim, but it just said you have a copyright in there, right? And so I went in there and they actually tell you exactly what's copywritten. And it just says this won't be available for some regions of the world, right? And then it said, well, it's these 3 things. And it was when I was playing Spotify, it was like Tool, Savage Garden, I don't know, some other artist. And it said, like, what do you want to do with these? And you can either replace the song and it will extract the audio and put different audio in. You can mute it, or you can actually snip out that whole segment. And once you do that, you no longer have that copyright tag on that video. Because I was nervous that I wouldn't be able to remove it and that it would be like stuck in that copyright state. So after that first stream, I hadn't been streaming to YouTube. But after I found that out, actually, Tectone told me about that. He just mentioned it in passing. I'm like, holy shit, really? So I went into my thing, and sure enough, I found that, and I'm like, holy crap. And it's like, snip out, remove. So I'll play music at the very beginning, and like when I went on the Be Right Back, which I can cut those out of my YouTube live. I don't care. That's fine. I know a lot of streamers have this thing where it doesn't play music. Yes. Now, the hard thing about, I have that set up already for Twitch. Everything on Spotify does not go through to my Twitch VOD. So none of my VODs ever get that marking on it, but YouTube doesn't have that type of setup available for it, and neither does Kick. Kick doesn't really give a shit about anything, honestly. Like, you can watch, I'm planning on doing some exclusive Kick streams where I like do anime reactions, maybe watch movies and react to it, because they don't care about that crap. You can do all that on Kick and not get in any trouble at all. Yeah, exactly. I have that VOD, and so what I was going to do is just use that VOD and upload it, right? So I was going to download it from Twitch, then upload it to YouTube, which is what I had been doing. But with this, I can live stream it to YouTube. I don't have to download it. I don't have to edit it. And then I don't have to upload it to YouTube. It'll automatically just save it every time I do it underneath my live tab, and I don't have to worry about, all VODs are there because I'll be multi-streaming from here on out. So I won't have to worry about VODs. I won't have to worry about downloading anything from Twitch and then, making a snip here or there and then uploading it into YouTube. So I'm way more excited about that. Now that I found that out, that I can actually cut So I'm very careful about where I play music, especially since I know all the music I'm playing is copyright through Spotify. But like if I do it on the Be Right Back or when during my stream is starting, then yeah, it's easy and fine. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter. So, but no, Kick is wild. It totally is. You know, you can basically do whatever you want on there. It doesn't matter. Like they're not gonna strike you or anything like that. Well, there are some limits, but they're usually legal and like extreme limits. So yeah, you have to do something really, really bad, IRL, you know, something like that to like warrant getting a warning or being suspended from Kick. So it's not going to be something like, oh, you watched a Marvel movie on Twitch. I mean, on a Kick, or you did a live react to Freerun on Kick. Yeah, no, that doesn't do it for them. So, but yeah, it's totally awesome. It's, you know, it's stuff on there because I've wanted to do like stuff like that on, you know, record that somewhere. And I definitely don't want to do any Patreon or stupid thing like that. Like that's just dumb. Well, it's not dumb for some people, but I'm not going to go through that trouble. I have hardly anyone that watches me. I'm not going to go through all the trouble. So just being able to stream it on Kick is nice, just to have it there, you know, just to be able to do it there. And then, you know, whoever wants to watch it can watch it. And yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, and that's, like I said, that's why I want to watch a few of these videos, because then I can just throw them up and then do that, and then, you know, maybe push out my channel. So, but yeah, they are making some changes. I don't know all the changes. I know just a little bit that what this guy talked about. So this guy's account or channel is Stream Scheme. That's an interesting name, Stream Scheme, and he's going over what Twitch has announced that they're doing changes after TwitchCon. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this real quick.
Several major changes coming to the website. Soon, new creators will be able to grow their stream fast.
How's that volume? Is it too loud for the video? Or maybe not loud enough. Okay, good. All right, awesome.
Monetize sooner, stream at higher resolutions, and much, much more. On the surface, this all seems amazing, but is there a darker side to these updates? Is this secretly a desperate attempt to squeeze out a droplet of good PR and relevancy from a dying website?
Yes.
Probably not, but like all the other no-life losers on Twitter LARPing as journalists, we're gonna summarize all the updates and what they mean to you, while leaving the best and most important changes.
The only reason they're doing this shit is because Kick already does it. And they've seen more and more people go over and at least multi-stream, if not exclusively stream. I gotta change this. This is weird. It's not showing part of the video.
Changes to last.
Let me... Let's see. Oh, that's because I'm doing that. That's why. Okay. It should be this one. There we go. I'm like, why does that look so weird? Damn it. Okay, that's why. Because I still have the screen capture on too. Okay. Let's look here. And this is just going to be, there we go. Perfect. All right. Back to it.
Because f you, the internet is the worst. My name's
Yes,
LJ, my notes are a cat, so let's get right into
That
it.
looks like a cat
After nearly
penis.
a year of privately testing 2K or 1440.
Oh, for
This
shit's
may be
sakes,
the
already.
last ad you ever see.
See,
Because
and with this, I can cut this out when I upload this as a video. So I don't have these in there either. Because I'm not paying for friggin' YouTube Premium when I don't have any extra money, but I would eventually.
with the free ad block extension,
40p streaming, Twitch has announced that they are ready to roll out the service to partners and affiliates starting right now. This is a landmark occasion as Twitch has only supported a maximum of 1080p 60 frames per second streaming for nearly a decade. If you want access, you can use the waiting list to sign up, but wait right there because this might be a terrible decision. Many Twitter experts are pointing out that Twitch's bitrate soft cap of 6000 is barely enough to support 1080p, let alone 1440p, while others are pointing out that due to Twitch's choice.
No, because every time I've had it, it doesn't work. Like I seriously, like, I've had them but like they don't work. Like, now I should say I was using them for Twitch, but I've just bought I have Turbo. I think I pay like $12 for Turbo because I watch it like almost all day every day as I'm working. I listen to it in the background. So yeah, they don't work for me on Twitch either. So I'm like, screw this shit. So I just removed it because I know YouTube's obviously finds ways to subvert it as well. I don't know. Is there one you actually think is the one that works for you for YouTube? Oh, you just use Brave. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think Jake uses Brave too. I may have to look at doing that. Brave and ad blocker ultimate. Okay. I may have to look at doing that for this specific thing.
Choice to use older codecs and transcoding priority, streaming at 1440p could cause your stream to be a laggy, stuttering mess for any viewer with slow internet, otherwise known as the entirety of Australia. Twitch has responded by asking people to please read the blog post where they say in bold letters that they'll be increasing the bitrate to support 1440p, use a newer HEVC codec, and the new Twitch enhanced broadcasting tools, which will allow stream quality to adjust automatically for viewers, making everything Twitter has said meaningless dribble once again. But the great minds over on Twitter didn't stop there, with tens of thousands taken to the digital streets after Twitch lowered the requirements to reach affiliate. Previously, new creators were required to reach 50 followers, stream a minimum of 7 days, stream for a minimum of 8 hours, and reach an average viewership of 3.
Until recently, I had been averaging this. I was averaging like 3 point... No. Oh, on 4 days. Dude. I've already surpassed that. Whenever I do those scene investigator ones, I've been averaging 5, 6 to 7 viewers doing that. Stream 4 days, stream 4+ hours. I already have 25 followers now. Technically, with this new one, I could actually get affiliate now.
Free, all within 30 days. This arguably monumental task kept many from ever being able to monetize.
But the problem is, if you become affiliate, it low-key halts. What do you mean? Oh, does it? So what, do you wait until you try to grow to the point? Because of ads, right? Because of ads. Right. Because honestly, I would honestly, dead ass, rather send people to watch me on Kick if they want to support me like that, instead of looking for a sub button here on Twitch until I'm able to get partner. If I do that. Yeah, because like you don't even I don't even think you have to run ads on Kick. Yeah, exactly. If I can average 30 to 50 viewers, then I would look at trying to become partner, and then it's worth it. But until then, like, I can actually make money on Kick if I can get people to find me through either YouTube or Twitch, you know, whichever one. So yeah, affiliate isn't really worth it, like you said, because then people start to get ads. And I heard that with affiliate, because you're an affiliate, right, Will? Yeah. Don't you have very limited control over ads as an affiliate? I know you get way more as a partner, but I heard that affiliates have very little control over ads, how much and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not all about that action. So I'd rather have people not have ads, because ad revenue is bullshit anyways on Twitch right now. And like, yeah, you don't want to. And I heard you can't turn off the fact that ads will play when someone clicks in, right? I don't know if you can turn that off. I know they can. Oh, okay, that's good. I thought I heard somewhere that you couldn't. So like when someone enters the stream, like they would automatically get ads. Like that. Okay, but only if you manually run. So if you run like a pre-stream pre-roll, you could do it. But I would just rather not mess around with that on Twitch until if I hit partner, then I hit partner. But yeah, like I said, I'd rather use Kick as my revenue driver, Kick and YouTube. But Twitch is great for collaborating with other people if you want to do that. Yeah. You have to root the 3-minute ads, and that will make anyone click off your stream. Yeah, as a smaller stream, yeah, you're right. It is kind of brutal. And you can't do anything about it. If you're doing stuff and it's something that you can actually pause things for, I know a lot of streamers, even bigger streamers, and I say bigger streamers, people that are 500 to maybe 2,000 viewers, like will sometimes pause what they're doing and wait for the people that aren't subbed or don't have turbo or don't have an ad blocker. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it either to go affiliate, because then you're dealing with the ads. And honestly, ad revenue has gotten so bad this particular year, it's not even worth it, honestly.
Their channel. Now, new streamers will only need 3 average viewers across 4 streams for 4 days for 4 hours and only 25 followers before they can begin spamming their tiny audience with unskippable, painful, repetitive ads to make pennies on the dollar. Proving once again to be an insufferable community to be a part of, streamers simply can't chill the f*** out. Many claiming, if you couldn't reach affiliate before, you don't deserve it, with the majority focused only on the monetization aspect of this. Many self-proclaimed streamer experts in the field are saying, affiliate has never been difficult for those who actually bother to try, and making it easier doesn't affect monetization because in reality, you can't monetize 3 people.
I mean, they're not wrong.
Now that is a bundle.
Yes, it actually is possible to eat healthy and still have a life.
Factor has made the biggest difference in how
These experts then went on to say, that said, making it easier means streamers will be able to use channel points and emotes sooner, which is great. We then went on to correct these experts and explain that later this year, every streamer, affiliate or not, will be given access to monetization and community features such as emotes and channel points, essentially making none of this matter. The only difference between a non-affiliate and affiliate moving forward will simply be that any income earned by a non-affiliate streamer must be spent.
Not wrong, but also like, as a small streamer, when I was averaging like 5 viewers, I got a decent bit of subs. Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. And being able to also do things like use emotes, things like that, channel points, right? That's something that can help people want to come back. If they like those things that you offer, right? So that's good too. Like having access to that is good. Well, shit, how do you not have even more people? Like seriously. Like you're good. Like besides Tyler 1, what are other really, really like high viewer count league streamers? There's a lot of them, right? Well, I don't know if there's a lot, but I mean, there's some. Oh, okay. Top 3 least played. But you know what that also does though? That creates a niche for you who, if people want to play that, they will want to watch you, right? If they know who you are and what you bring, if someone is interested in that character, they know where to go to watch it. Well, or they would know like that they should be coming to you. Yeah, I mean. If I were you, if you were barely streamed and got subs because I was that niche. Yeah, okay, yeah. if you wanted to push it, like if you were, let's say you were actually in a game, a ranked match, right? Because you guys do rank, you guys have ranking, pro or whatever it's called, ranked. It's ranked. If you were in like a ranked match and you were actually up against someone that you knew was a streamer and that they were streaming, hell's bells. Of course, I don't know the etiquette for speaking in games either. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because then they would just know to come over to Twitch TV and look you up, right? Yeah, if you giga perform, you know, how often do League players team up with other players to play games? Like not against each other, but on the same side to play. Is that something you guys do? 'Cause honestly, I know almost nothing about League, like nothing. Okay. Because you don't want to risk losing points. Is that it? At your level? Oh, really? They do. So at lower ranks that aren't top 1,000, they restrict duo queue. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Top 1,000 has dual restrictions. Okay, I gotcha. Huh. Yeah, no, I think you totally could, by changing a couple things. Like you said, putting TTV in your name and streaming and having just, even if it's a set one day a week that you decided to do it. And you put that on your schedule, I think you could easily average enough viewers to make some money. Yeah, exactly. You could do on all three platforms, for hell's sakes. Yeah, exactly. And honestly, yeah, like I hit one button and I go live on all three. I know there's a plugin that you can use too that is over here on the right hand side of OBS, where it has your live stuff you can do live. It's a plugin. You can hit just start on each one and it will automatically go live on each one. I just hit one, and if I have the multi-streaming thing set up over here, it'll just do all the ones I have toggled on, so it's easy. Yeah, I don't think it would be hard either.
And on Twitch by the streamer on other streamers and cannot be paid out to the non-affiliate streamer. As for me, an unbiased reporter, I think who the hell cares? Once you reach affiliate, you'll realize content creation is a never-ending treadmill where you can never relax, sit back and enjoy your success. Soon you'll realize you need partner, and once you get that, you'll learn that digital titles and accolades are meaningless. With that, the ever-looming dread will begin to destroy your life as you endlessly grind away trying to grow that tiny bit more. And before the light slips away from your tired, bloodshot eyes, you'll realize you should have been a YouTuber. In other news, Twitch has finally begun to capitalize on their main audience's desperation, sadness, loneliness, and of course fear with watch streaks. No longer just a third-party tool used by streamers to farm parasocial relationships and in turn grow their average viewers, now Twitch will allow streamers to further segregate their audience with watch streaks, forcing viewers to never miss a stream or risk their chat messages never being read again. Pour one out for our non-subs who have to work, you'll never be acknowledged by a streamer again. Once again, Twitter has called this new feature cruel and unusual.
Wait a minute. I want to hear this again.
No longer just a third-party tool used by streamers to farm parasocial relationships and in turn grow their average viewers, now Twitch
consecutive streams to earn an additional Scopo icon.
will allow streamers to further segregate their audience with watch streaks, forcing viewers to never miss a stream or risk their chat messages never being read again. Pour one out for our non-subs who have to work, you'll never be acknowledged by a streamer again. Once again, Twitter has called this new feature cruel and unusual punishment and a disgusting decision on par with Holocaust feature cruel.
I just hoined, or I think it means I just joined a stream, and my favorite streamer began berating me for losing my streak. I'm sheeting and pissing and crying right now. This is Twitch's fault. I can't say that I have seen this whole watch streak thing, and I've never clicked on the message once when I watch other people. Holy shit, why is my stuff unstable? It's looking a little bit better. Now it's back up in the green over here. Okay. And I've never clicked on it once for a watch streak. And honestly, whoever did this is just a dickhead, in my opinion. Whatever streamer did this is just a dickhead. That's just my opinion.
An unusual punishment and a disgusting decision.
Twitch hates working class. Watch streaks prove that it's a war. They want to end us all. We're being hunted because we can't spend all of our time on Twitch. On Twitch, woke liberal worse than WWT. Okay, really, guys, really? I just no, it wasn't you. It said my bitrate was unstable, but I see over here in my OBS that all night I've only dropped 1.1% frames, and it's up in the green again. So I was looking at my bitrate over here in on Twitch too, but like this other thing, I can't stand how people just like, never mind. I don't even want to get into it. I just saw World War II and started, never mind.
On par with Holocaust denial. In response, Twitch has released a statement saying, please for the love of God, please, oh my lord, please read the blog. If someone misses a stream, they can watch a VOD or even a clip to maintain their streak. Twitch streamers promptly ignored and continued to clip staff members out of context to farm likes online. Speaking of clips, Twitch continues to roll out more tools for them, previously having created the beloved clip updates such as vertical integration, discovery feeds, and stories. 3 key features every self.
Do you ever click on a story? Do you ever click on a story in Twitch? Yeah. Okay, yeah. On the mobile app. Okay, so I can't even see my damn camera. Okay, so you see this thing right here at the top? Those icons? Those are stories from people I follow, right? The only time I ever click on those is by accident when I'm trying to click on either the follow or the live button, and I accidentally click on one of those when I'm laying in bed. Otherwise, I don't ever look at stories, ever. Ever. I'm just saying, I don't ever do it. They could be anything, too. It's weird.
Self-proclaimed stream expert requested for nearly 7 years, with these same people saying, this would allow Twitch to be new streamer friendly and to stop it from dying. Sadly, after release, nobody used these new updates, with many viewers going on to say, I don't go to Twitch to pretend it's TikTok, and I despise the Twitch app. I'd rather risk having a brain aneurysm while hate scrolling livestream fails on Reddit. One unbiased reporter has been
the Twitch app does blow.
Quoted as saying, I told you so, you idiots, go make videos if you want to actually grow. But will these new updates change all of that? Twitch has gone on record as saying the new clip tools will help streamers by suggesting clips from their most engaging moments, making it easier to review, edit, and publish content. Another major change, now clips won't force viewers to leave the stream, and will be less disruptive. Several Ludwig viewers, upon hearing the news, were reportedly heard saying, finally, I can clip his feet without also missing anything else. Continuing to double down on viewer desperation to be loved, Twitch has also announced a new clip leaderboard leaderboard, where clippers whose clips get a significant amount of views are rewarded with their name in lights at the top of the board, and in turn, the love of their streamer. Women creators everywhere were both excited that yes, it would make it easier to ban perverts, but at the same time, uneasy that those perverts can now find fellow perverts easier. It is unconfirmed yet whether this leaderboard will also take into account the new React feature that allows viewers to react to the clips after the stream. With monetization unlocking for all streamers very soon, and the ability for payouts to be held and used instead back on Twitch, the staff were eager to see an increase in profits. However, an anonymous insider has gone on record saying, "Yeah, so we were in a meeting and an intern pointed out that we're in a cost of living crisis. Most viewers can't afford to subscribe to one streamer, let alone 2 or 3, especially with all the price increases lately." Apparently, the intern was promptly dragged from the room screaming, "Please stop, no, I'll buy Turbo, please, I can't do it, I can't watch any more Asmongold." More importantly, in response, Twitch has announced the streamer-led promotion tool. Soon, affiliates and partners will be given 70 hours of promotional stream time to use in up to 7 different promotions throughout the year. Starting off, these promotions will be limited to 35% off bundles of 5 or more gift subs. Based on this information, we were able to work out that if 1 sub costs $6 and 5 subs cost $30, a 35% discount would equal roughly $10.50, meaning a viewer could buy 5 subs for their favorite streamer instead of food for their family. All of this extra income, though, will be needed as Twitch servers are about to become heavily burdened, not just by new encoding and resolutions, but also by the new playback feature. Twitch proudly announced Rewind is coming, which led me to ask, did they at least buy him a drink first? The new Rewind feature allows viewers to drag their playhead back to rewatch any moment of the stream, a feature that YouTube has had forever. This feature was the most hyped by the community upon announcement, with Twitch saying, just scrub back, no excuses. To use this feature, you need to be a paying Turbo member or have a subscription to the channel you're using it on. So there is one excuse. Nevertheless, it is exciting to see such a heavily requested...
That's such a joke. That is such a joke. Like, Kick does that, YouTube does that, like, and you don't have to have their premium service or subscribe to the channel. Like, or be a member in the case of YouTube. Like, this is so stupid that they put this behind a paywall wall just to catch up to other platforms that have had it for free for so long. It's stupid.
Requested feature be implemented after so many years, even if many consider it poorly. In fact, so poorly that many have taken back to the digital streets, with one streamer saying,
what?
Utah homeowners, you can replace your old AC unit at no cost thanks to new funding.
This is worse.
It is a bad platform. It's not only... It's a bad platform in a lot of ways. I'm going to be getting one after... I'll be getting Brave just to do this part of my streams with, at least. Twitch could have been so much better in so many ways. They have totally fumbled, like, so much stuff. It's kind of crazy. Like, they have fumbled the mobile app so badly over the years. Nobody likes it. They use it only because they have to. They just keep integrating more shit and more shit that nobody wants, making it more and more cluttered on people's stuff, on their channels, on their streams. It just, and like I said, the worst thing they do is they are just like completely over and underhanded, depending on who you are, with how they enforce their own TOS. That's why it's just a joke. Like the way they like enforce stuff. That is, like, it's just whatever. It is what it is. Yeah, they are. They are so out of touch. Absolutely, yeah. No, it's crazy. Like, they really are. Yeah, I'm curious what's going to happen with them and how they moderate stuff. For lack of a better term, they're all part of the same circle jerk. Yep, pretty much.
Than the Chinese Communist Party. I can't breathe with all these restrictions. Where is...
Okay, really? I can't handle this anymore. These brain-rotted idiots on Twitter and Reddit who don't even know what they're saying about things like the Holocaust, about genocide, about the Chinese Communist Party. Dude, you have no idea. You have no idea. You'd have access to one webpage. I've been to China. I've used their internet. I spent like 3 or 4 weeks there. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you have no idea what it's like to not be able to do what you want to do. You're just a spoiled child who lives in your parents' basement and don't do anything to contribute to society. Like, you have no idea what it's like not to be able to do things, not to have rights. You have no idea. No idea. Sorry. I just can't stand people who use these extremes and go, and it's communist. Like, really? I just noticed that. Communist. I don't know if that's a purposeful innuendo or they're just an idiot. Okay, yeah, they can't spell anything. Restrictions. Surprised you can spell freedom.
Is my freedom of speech. Mike Minton, Twitch head of monetization, explained this restriction isn't based on greed, but in fact is designed so that streamers don't lose out on ad revenue, a fair and reasonable explanation, to which streamers promptly ignored and continued to clip staff members out of context.
That would only matter if ad revenue wasn't so crappy. Yeah, I can't stay on there. I can't. I'll go on there to look at somebody I want to look at, as far as like if they made a tweet, I'll like retweet it, like it, and then I'm off. Yeah, like why would they care about ad revenue when you have tanked it into the shitter with the way that you know you have made the platform so like so anti oh crap, what do they call them, the people who buy ads? I forgot what they call them. They're not sponsors, they're maybe they are. Anyways, they've made it such a negative space for them that they don't want to buy ad space on Twitch because they don't want like Johnson & Johnson baby oil. That's a bad example of baby oil. Was yeah, like let's say like Huggies diapers. They don't want their ad running on Hassan's channel when he's talking about a terrorist manifesto. I mean, yeah, no, they don't want that. Or an Asmongold when he's talking about something controversial too. Now I know that's why they created the whole political one to have limited ads, but like they did that after companies pulled out and didn't want to advertise anymore. And revenue is so bad now with ads. People don't want to sit through them. The ads are crappy. They're not very good, and they're too long, and the creators make hardly nothing off of them.
Farm likes online. Rewind isn't the only feature YouTube has inspired, but also the ability to vertical and horizontal stream at the same time, otherwise known as dual format streaming. Using the ATM vertical plugin that has been used for multi-streaming, streamers can soon set up a vertical and horizontal canvas to stream to Twitch simultaneously. Twitch has announced that they believe this is one of the most important updates of the site, and they care deeply about getting it right. It will include features such as better optimized viewer experience on mobile, allowing users to watch either vertically or, if they rotate their phone, horizontally. Supposedly, this new update will also bring a better user interface, more ways to chat, engage, and of course, for mobile viewers to participate in hype trains easier.
You know, half of the, half on topic, half off topic. Did you see that one C9 guy on Siege that lost to a Japanese team and posted a Hiroshima reference? No. And C9 lost their Honda sponsorship. Oh, I'm sure they lost their Honda sponsorship. Are you kidding me? Like, that is the epitome of that is the epitome of what was I going to say? Of someone who just doesn't like get out. You know what I mean? Like someone who doesn't interact with other human beings on a face-to-face basis at all, and still still thinks it's okay to say these things like to people online. I think there's this massive disconnect where 99% of these people that say these types of things on Twitter, on Reddit, and I say 99 because the 1% of them are complete total psychopaths and sociopaths and would probably kill you. But the other 99% are such like IRL pussies that they won't say any of this shit to your face because they're too scared, A, to even speak to you, and B, to even like say something like that to your face. Honda has sponsored Team Liquid. I remember Team Liquid, not Cloud9. In May 2025, Honda terminated sponsorship with Team Liquid after a player posted an inappropriate message on social media. The player, Diaz, posted a GIF of the Hiroshima bombing after Team Liquid lost to a Japanese team, which Honda deemed unacceptable. Absolutely. Honda stated that the post was incompatible with Honda's philosophy of respect for humanity, is what I got from Google. That is incredible. Totally based, 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't give another dollar to a team that has a player like that on their team. Even if they got rid of them, like, you know, I mean, people who let things like that happen online, you know, they've said it in private to their friends. You know it. There's that one guy, their entire corp is going to have some rough patches. Yep. Since Honda was their biggest sponsor by far. Yeah, I mean, there is no one who is overtly, publicly racist and is not 100% racist offline with people they are close to or consider to be friends and confidants, right? There's no one like that. And so they knew what kind of person he was, and they knew that this could happen if and that's the problem, is if someone has these type of tendencies offline, eventually it's going to leak online somewhere in some way. And by leak, I mean them, more likely than not, doing, saying, or posting something somewhere along the lines of what they do and say offline. It's going to happen. It's just going to happen. So, you know, I feel sorry for the rest of the team. And hopefully that this can like help them reflect on the kind of culture they're building in with their team, and not to allow this to happen, in the future, so that they could avoid something like this. But it will eventually happen. There's no doubt about it. There's no getting around it, unfortunately.
While many are incredibly excited for this update, it's left others confused. Vertical streaming, while fairly young, has seen incredible results on TikTok and YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, that's true too. Yeah. I forgot this is just one. I do feel very, very bad about that too. And, you know, when you deal with people who've grown up in this generation, and I say this generation, like younger people, because let's face it, everyone knows I'm old, but younger people, I'd say 25 and under, where they have spent their whole life like growing up online, like they've always had that in front of them, right? They've always had like it's always been there. It's always been a part of how they grew up. There's only like the managers of that team, and whoever manages the team should really have a much better way to help manage them going forward. Yeah, it's a big problem. It's only getting worse. Exactly. And I think that, like, for instance, you see it. I don't know how familiar you are with VTubers, but you see it with some VTuber agencies, right? Where they do a pretty good job overall. Even the ones that give a lot of their streamers a lot of freedom. Like VShojo gives their VTubers a lot of freedom. Hololive not as much. Nijisanji not as much, but they give them freedom to talk, but they're always in communication with them when they're streaming, when they're offline, etc. One moment. All right, I'm back. It's crazy because it was the big thing was like 5th graders reading at like a second. Oh yeah, the oh, what the hell's that called? That kids show. How's it called? The one that little kids watch, like babies, like I want to say babies, but like really young. Something. Oh, it's on YouTube. Damn, I can't remember the name. It's a massive, massive problem. Actually, hold on. It's let me is oh, what is it, kids? It's not Bluey. Hell is it? It's like I have not played Risk of Rain 2, no. Oh, for hell's sakes. No, it's not Bluey. Anyways. Yeah, where basically they would watch it. Oh, okay. It's one, there's been like other YouTube video documentaries about it. Very young children watch it and like they freak out after they've started watching it when they can't watch it. And it's stunted their actual mental growth in the sense that they don't learn to speak. Like they can't obviously start reading. It's really well known for changing perspective and scene like a ton. So it's like flash, like 5 seconds, flash, 5 seconds, another scene, another scene, another scene. Damn it, what the hell is it called? Programs, maybe that'll be it. No. Is it lagging? Holy crap, yeah, it went down, yeah. Now it's back in the green, weird. Now let's just chat GPT it, right? That's the best way I can learn to say it. Cocoa melon. Cocoa melon. Yes. Yeah, you said it. Yeah, cocoa melon. Sorry. Cocoa melon. Dude. There's like, I watched like a couple like 1+ hour documentaries on cocoa melon. It is insane what these parents have been saying in those videos that like their kids can't speak, like they don't know how to speak, they don't know how to talk, they can't, you know, and they're like 4, 5 years old. It's insane, crazy. Like this and then like if you get one where they say they've stopped letting their kid watch it, it's a miracle. They come back and say, you know what, within like a month, my child was doing this and doing that. And it's like, it's a miracle, isn't it? what happens when you don't allow them to watch just like pure absolute brain rot. Crazy.
Thanks to both sites having millions of users watching billions of vertical short format content endlessly on the platforms, which, when compared to Twitch, simply isn't how users tend to use the site.
No.
Instead, preferring to second monitor stream content for a long period of time while they game to feel less lonely. Self-proclaimed stream experts have continued to push vertical and mobile-first tools as the way forward for Twitch, but when asked where the viewers were coming from or how to change the deep-rooted Twitch culture that simply didn't use those features, they became awkward, stuttered a bit, and mumbled something about off-platform content under their breath. I've been LJ, my notes are still a cat, you've been watching the TwitchCon news wrap, at best these changes are neat, at worst they're meaningless, none of this is going to change your life, so if you want to learn something of value that other self-proclaimed stream experts can't do, click here to learn how I monetized.
Like, seriously, I have that option to add vertical right here in OBS, and I don't do it because I don't stream on anything that would go vertical, and I don't see a point to. Like, I would never stream to Twitch with vertical mode on, ever, period. I've made a habit of this now. I'm just putting this in all the chats. There we go, just put that in all the chats. And TikTok, I would stream vertical. Yeah, I would stream vertical on TikTok if I was doing TikTok. I totally would. As a matter of fact, I get annoyed when I come across a short on my desktop because it takes up this much in the middle of the screen and that's it. It's annoying. Great if you're on your phone. Yeah, no, it is. But like, I still prefer to watch a video sideways just because I feel like I get more, but a stream, I can see that maybe. Actually, I've never tried to watch it on here, but if it looks similar to what they were showing on Twitch, then I can see that. But yeah, I have no reason. I definitely, I would say there's no way I'm actually going to stream like to Twitch on this. There's no way. Well, like as vertical, I'm just not going to do it. So do you, most people use phone? Yeah, that's true. I do. I use most of what I use is for my phone for YouTube as well. Also, people could run into your stream on YouTube while scrolling shorts. True. Stream is lagging again. Yeah. Oh, it's lagging bad. Yeah, it just dipped again. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to watch. I don't know if you like these. Do you like dash cam videos? I'm going to watch one, maybe two of these, the dash cam videos. Yeah, I haven't seen any of these playlists, right? I haven't seen any of the idiots in cars playlist. So I was going to watch one or two of these and then call it. So let's go ahead. Let's just start this here. And then, of course this does that. Oh, they make, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I present on-screen commentary of some incidents to help viewers understand each situation and comment educational feedback to enhance the knowledge of drivers.
Okay.
Before we begin, please make sure to like this video and hit the subscribe button for more videos. Enjoy watching.
Life itself.
Looks like someone doesn't really like his mirrors. Okay.
Think about moments in your life when you felt in love with life. When you saw the light dancing through the leaves on the sidewalk. And you, for a moment, realized.
This guy is still coming all the way over.
It's beautiful. Think of the moments.
I've seen it before. What was there? Oh, that one right there?
Oh, there's a...
That's the turn, that's the turn.
Whoa, dude. Seriously.
Nice, dog. Holy guacamole. Okay, that one was not my fault.
Yeah,
what the hell is he doing? Holy.
I'm starting to feel like I drive the invisible boatmobile in this town, okay? Beat driver, Bears, RD, Halifax. Okay. Crazy drunk driver. Oh, mercy. No, no, no.
Yeah, I mean, usually 5 things work, but like...
Caught one. I hope they don't always drive like this. Okay, let's see what it is. The drunk driver one
if you hold it for
didn't end as bad as... same with me. What the I was full on expecting that drunk driver one to come into that, like, crash into the house of the one with the camera. Really? Like, what the hell? Holy shit, he is cruising.
Oh my god.
That dude is hauling. Oh my gosh. It's like he's running from the police.
That was fucking, my heart is like racing.
That is crazy. Whoa! Oh man, I tell you what. What the hell? Hold on. Doesn't it look like there's something else up there? Look. In that lane already. You see that? There's something already driving on the shoulder right there. What the hell is that? You see that? Or maybe that's not the shoulder. Because someone else is in there too. Okay, maybe that's not the shoulder. Whoa! Whoa!
Oh my god!
Crazy!
Oh no! He went all the way off the shoulder, he wasn't watching. Oh!
Garbage truck not paying attention and crossing multiple lanes on the freeway. Okay, great. I can see that one right there coming. Okay, yeah, HOV lane, okay. Oh! Seriously, my chest gets tight. I'm like, oh! Parking garage hit and run, of course. Always. Sometimes the blind spot is just them being a good driver. Really? Really? He looks out, I guess I'll just drive away. There's no harm on my car. They like ripped the bumper off and shit. And look, there's like nothing wrong with his, probably. He hops out and shows his face exactly as well. I know. Crazy. Just leaves.
Imagine, like, oh, bro. Holy
These people. They're gonna pull back out, aren't they? Oh my gosh. Exactly, man. I was like saying the same thing. What? Why is he slamming on his brakes? Is it that? Oh yeah, that's bad. Oh! That dude was not paying attention. Not paying attention. Yeah, exactly. Somebody was on the phone. Didn't notice. Exactly. Oh, see, I didn't even see that. That was a highway patrol or cop. Car accident in Grand Central Highway, NYC, caught by. Oh, okay, no, it was just where it happened. Okay, both of these people were lucky. Okay, let's see.
Thanks for your
Oh my gosh, that was so close. Oh no. Oh no. He's gonna clip that thing there. Yep. And he's either gonna tip the trailer.
I'm not smart. I'm not smart at all.
Or he's gonna clip the truck trying to pull out this way. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Jellyfish is permanent lighting so good it should be on the naughty list.
So bad.
Invisible in the day and
I know. It's a miracle too. Oh! Damn, that's a deep medium right there.
Same Jocelyn, like I met some of the neighbours the other day and we got a couple of older ladies across the road. Mate.
Maybe you're on the wrong side of the road.
He did that on a corner.
Oh no, okay. He was passing. Holy crap.
It took me a second to fucking realise that he was actually in my lane.
That was down in Australia.
Do not stop on tracks. Stopped on the tracks. Even
Idiot.
worse, stopped on the tracks.
So dumb.
Oh, nó bỏ chạy luôn. Ôi, oh shoot. Oh my god.
Oh, lucky we're not over there.
Để cho nó chạy đi.
Oh
my god. It could have been.
Bad driver in Dallas. Okay, that's not abnormal. Dude, are you kidding me? Wait till the last second to turn on your damn turn signal. And pulls into lane 2 without checking out. What else is new? Oh.
No, how to feed was that?
They just can't wait to look. They can't wait and just look. They just have to pull out.
Good brakes.
Good job.
Crazy. Oh, mercy. Are you kidding me? I think that was just stupid. What the shit is that? It's a Turkish word that we say to people who are not completed their evaluation yet, as an example. Okay, so someone who shouldn't have their license yet, I think is what they're saying. Yeah, a lot of these aren't too bad. Had to save those 2 seconds. Exactly.
Seems legit. It seems so necessary.
Was that nuts? Like the whole squeak and everything. Jesus.
Atlanta. Oh, damn. Oh, just made it. Just made it, man. When the sun comes out, so do the idiots. Yes, that is truth. Let's pass on a double lane with road construction. The brains are big on this one. Cross double lines and everything. My gosh. Absolutely hate people like that.
Потянул, короче, это самое. Ноги выкидываю.
Oh my gosh. Like, did they not see the 3 cars there? Like 3. Like that one, and the one with the camera. Like, there was no opening for you to just leisurely pull out. Like, what the hell? Crazy. Craziness. I won't lie, the only sort of accident I've gotten into was pulling out of a Walmart and I was about to go forward. This lady pulls out into you, right? Into you. Yeah. The only one I remember getting in of course. And didn't see you, of course. The one I remember getting into is still, I think I was married. It was right towards the very beginning. I bought this Nissan Pulsar car for like $200 and I had to replace stuff on it. It was a stick. Like, it was like very basic, right? Brakes weren't that good. I'd finished getting everything fixed, was taking it for a drive because we had to replace the thermostat on it. So to keep it from overheating. I was at this intersection, this car in front of me, like I was looking this way at traffic, right? And I thought out of my peripheral vision here that I saw them go, take a right-hand turn. And so I put it in first gear and creep forward again and hit them. That's the only one that I've got. So I'm like, I saw that it was wide open. I'm like, okay, they must have gone. You know, went forward, boom, hit them. I'm like, well, what the shit are they doing? They're just sitting there. But this was a long time ago, so thank goodness. Another Alabama driver at work. Okay, all right. Well, they are riding them, man. Where is that van going? What the? Oh my gosh. Oh, this is China. Dude tailgated me and tried to brake check me. Came out of his car. Oh,
this is your sign to go get the 3-on-6. My name is Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
I grew up hating my mouth.
Came out of his car and gave me a face full of mace. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? What the hell? Yeah. Seriously. Yeah, it is my sign.
Yeah, that's what I thought, mother.
You got his license plate, report him to the cops. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do, man. He got out of his car and assaulted you. That's all you gotta do. Is he gonna try to, like, brake check him again? He's gonna cut him off here, isn't he? Yeah, no, seriously.
Or where that came from.
It does.
That's what I thought.
Dude! He's insane! He's one crazy ass driver.
Well, in these situations,
I know they're incredibly valuable if you have an accident to have one too. didn't see that.
Well, on these situations,
Well, that guy was like, idiot drifts into her lane, then honks. Driver ran a red light and instantly caught by police. Well done, Wellington Police, for a quick reaction. Okay. New Zealand, good. Oh, there we go. Nice. Which one? The guy who ran the red light? It wasn't that bad. Oh my laws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What, are they actually going to try to drive away or something? Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? That is a pentakill right there, isn't it? Is this one just silent? Or did I didn't do anything to the sound, right? No? All right. Wrong way driver. That is so crazy. Like how that happens with people. Wrong way driver.
Why? It's just
idiot driver. Okay.
I don't understand.
Joey Mac.
Cocksucker.
You cocksucker. And then they slam on their brakes. Really? Idiots in cars. Idiots on cars. Oh, mercy. All right. Okay, I noticed that my stuff dipped a couple more times in there. So I will call it there for tonight. All right, awesome. Thank you for stopping by, Will. I know it's late for you, getting late for you, so thank you for stopping by. I'll be on again tomorrow. Maybe watching more videos and maybe playing a game, actually. But I should be able to start on time again tomorrow. Maybe a little bit early, so we will do that. So yeah, thanks everyone who came by. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And like I said, I will see you later. It should be, I'm gonna try to be on by 5:30 Mountain. So I think it would be 6:30 your time. Because isn't it 10:30 your time right now? Or is it 11:30? Okay, it's 10:30. Okay. Yeah, so probably 6 or 6:30 your time is when I'll be getting on again. So I'm doing a training this week and next week for training a couple of groups at work. So I've been starting work earlier than normal, and I get off earlier. So it makes it a lot easier to stream. Well, thank you. Yeah, if you are available and you want to hop in and say hello, that would be awesome. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you if you're able to be here, and have a good rest of your night. And to everyone else, thanks a lot. Have a good one.